It's time for Planet Green.
We have launched.
We've completely launched. We've started the show, and it is Planet Green Trees. We're about to embark 2 hours of medical marijuana and marijuana reform in Michigan.
Planet Green Trees. Attention, ladies and gentlemen. The Planet Green Trees show is underway with your host, attorney Michael Komorn.
Alrighty.
We have launched.
Welcome, everybody. Starting Planet Green Trees. Episode number 497.
It's a lot.
It's getting close to the big
500, right?
500.
It's a lot.
A lot of hours. A lot of prepping for those shows.
Yeah.
Tons.
A lot of prep.
Tons.
A lot of talk around those shows that was never like recorded too.
Yeah.
Today would be
There's a lot of collaboration behind the scenes.
Well, I've been saying, even though of all the recordings we have, there's still a lot of stuff that didn't make it onto the edit. You know, that's left on the editing floor. Just kidding.
And then there's always
the
meeting afterwards, and
The post meeting.
the post meeting. Right.
And the all of the spreads that we don't get. Yeah.
That's right. We've been announcing Planet Green Trees is thriving on its best spread for any of the Michigan podcasts. I think we do, without debate, to retain that title.
Absolutely.
It's always
Absolutely.
And we're trying to engage local business.
Yeah.
We are.
Buddy's Pizza right down the street.
Buddy's
right.
Pizza tonight. And it's always delicious.
It's
Always
old school
delicious.
Detroit too.
Yeah.
So today is it January 14th? Is that what it is? It's still the year 2021?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're calling the show The Incident Regarding the Toilet Paper. Tonight we have, we understand, calling in the godfather of cannabis in Michigan. The one and only Tim Beck will be joining us to opine and request that he be disabused.
Yeah.
And
I always love having Tim on. It's always a lot of fun.
he's insightful. And I'm interested, we haven't had him on in a while.
No, it's been a while. It's been a while.
So these are some of the topics that are on this piece of paper that I'm going to read from and suggest that we may talk about them later. That is not always guaranteed. But I guess I might rant, maybe. So I'm feeling a little bit. Going to warm up, stretch my muscles.
There you go.
Number 2, Michigan cannabis sales increased 482% during 2020. All paid for by the
Duh.
government?
No.
Yeah. Much of it. I mean, the checks from the...
Stimulus checks.
Right.
Record's just getting rolling.
I hear people calling it a stimmy, and it just makes me laugh when I see it.
Sales are going to go up significantly regardless of the COVID or the stimulus checks. Maybe those helped out, but
I know.
I
it's a
think-
good year.
I know. But and they don't delineate here. I think they're including all sales. They're not delineating medical and recreational. Legal marijuana sales in Virginia could start in less than 2 years under Northam's new proposal. Why marijuana stocks jumped today? I know Tim Beck is one of the topics he was adding commentary to. The UFC anti-doping policy changes stance on marijuana. Positive test no longer a violation.
Well, how nice.
Other sports we know from our conversation with Eric Hipple changed the levels of carbohydrates. We're talking to carboxy THC that would not, because those are all urine tests too. If you, that means the levels were so high that you could have actually smoked in the parking lot, walked in, urine tested, and not be violated for the policy. Anyways, law enforcement studies marijuana legalization in surrounding states. That one seems to be All right, so.
Well, they've had several of those UFC fighters have come out and talked openly and smoked openly.
Yes.
So they kind of have to.
Yes.
But.
And it's part of some of the jiu-jitsu, isn't the jiu-jitsu? I mean, literally, like part of the routine involves cannabis smoking.
Yeah. You have to get in the right mindset.
I mean, it helps people. I know that lots of people use it before they exercise, and I know that
It's great for exercise.
like
Absolutely.
we our friend
It's
Brandon.
great for recovery.
Yeah.
They
And
say that martial arts are walking meditation.
our friend Brandon McQueen is a martial arts expert. He teaches
Hey,
others.
so is our friend Amanda.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are
yeah.
you a martial arts expert?
I am. Well, I don't think an expert because I'm a little rusty hinges,
Oh,
but
I did not
back
know
in the
that.
day,
I
I
did not know
did.
that
I
about you.
did bust a few moves.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jim,
I
why
did
don't you
not
try to
know
why don't you try to punch? Why don't you try to
No.
punch Amanda right now?
No,
See what
I don't-
happens.
I could.
Just kidding.
I could
I don't
block
need-
it. I could totally block it. I could do. I could do it. I could, but I don't know. I'm rusty hinges.
Rusty hinges. Well, that's good to
In
know
a
that,
pinch, I
that
can hold my
Amanda's
own.
here in case things get out of control and intruders try to
That's
come.
right.
I feel much better now.
Yes,
Maybe Amanda should be the head of security.
Maybe we should start.
I could do that.
we could
I
do some
that.
sparring, Amanda.
I would like that. I miss
That'd be
doing
fun.
my
be a good
katas and
workout.
stuff. I've been thinking seriously about going back, but there's like I don't know. It's a commitment. You have to make a commitment
is.
to it because
Yeah.
it's not just something you can kind of hang out and
No.
you know.
It's something you got to be all
You've
in.
got to be there at least 3 to 4 times a week.
And even if you take on just the enthusiast position, you still have to get a gi.
Yes, you have to get your uniforms. I mean, it's an investment, a financial investment, and time-wise, it's an investment. And it's something you have to be in the right. You've got to make a commitment to do it, and I'm not right now in a space to do that, but I will be.
I'd say next week everyone wears a gi. We'll see what happens. Okay.
Why not?
I still have the
We could do that, or we could do a toga.
fun fact. Traditionally, it was always the firstborn son that would receive a belt, which they called an obi. Okay, so the father would pass it down to the son when the son became a black belt. Okay, but I got my dad's, so I was the first. I was like, rather than my brother getting it
Wow.
because we got up at the same time. He gave it to me, so that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And I still have that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
He broke from the tradition.
He broke a tradition, and I was a girl, and that was like a real.
Empowering,
It was
empowering.
a very big thing at the time.
Yeah.
It was a while ago, about 20 years ago.
But meaningful nonetheless. That's good.
But who's counting?
We're gonna start doing some jujitsu advice. Maybe we'll work that in, like jujitsu fact of the day, like some of this, like the gi goes.
We should
to
all
the-
get some martial arts training.
I
We
had that-
should do a self-defense class or something. Just a little exercise class in the parking lot. But clearly, we would have to do it outdoors because we wouldn't want to violate any of the
No.
governor's
No.
executive orders
Although,
or the health
The first
department
question is:
orders.
it considered a contact sport? Maybe, and under 25 people, maybe was that the other thing? But still, it's contact sports would be prohibited, right? I give a
But
shot.
I
That's
think
still
you can
true. I
do
think-
some wrestling.
I think you're allowed-
wrestling is okay. You just, I
same
read
thing.
some article that said you can totally wrestle.
Okay.
So I don't know, but don't eat
Good
inside.
information. Yeah, don't do that.
Wrestle.
Yeah, wrestle.
I have to get a shout out because we're talking with my friend of mine, Corey Nolan, and a friend of David Rudoy's as well, opened a jiu-jitsu store, place in, I think it was Waterford.
A jujitsu store?
made a couple-
Is that where you go buy some jujitsu?
You go buy your jiu-jitsu there.
Probably.
Oh, okay.
Is it a studio?
Studio,
or
they train and stuff, and I was
It's a
there with
store, too?
Rudoy.
Considered that too.
Yeah, and we wrestled and stuff, and I had a gi. It was great. I learned a lot. I
Skill
learned a
you
lot
can
that night.
Take with you.
Did you
anyway.
do this
I
recently?
could do it.
I did it in the last couple of years. It was like on a Sunday night. It was about a
dabbled in it
50-minute
before. I
ride, so it
had
was hard to get
some
in. But he
students.
wanted, they brought the kids and the wife, and it's a great place.
awesome.
Some of I'll tell you, there's a couple things that you learn that you don't even think about in dealing with people. That if you're alert enough to realize that you might be in trouble, there's things you can just do by where you stand, the distance that you stand, and be, you know what I mean, right? That's something. And then I came back and was telling Steve about it, that's what they teach in the police, right? That whole idea that like where the distance that we have right now, which would be socially distancing at least 6 feet away, is more preferred than being close
That's a
enough.
preferred interview, like from me to you right now.
Like a traffic
If
stop
I
kind of
met
thing.
on a domestic violence call
Right.
or something, for me to you, that's ideal. 3 to 6 feet.
Right,
they
because there's a zone that I can get to that I can throw a sucker punch and hit you. Would you let him? So you're either here or you're grabbing the person, taking them down. It's like there's no in between. You're either here or you're engaging, right? I mean, you know what I
Right.
mean?
There's circles, yeah. You circles.
lot of them
around
are-
It's a
you.
bubble.
Yeah,
Anyways.
it's your bubble.
But it's just for self-defense purposes, knowing that You know what I mean? Because then if things change, like if you're here and they're there and they're not comfortable, and they start coming at you, then you gotta. If they start, then you're not going to let them get to that point. You're going to get them. Anyway, it's just an interesting way to think of things and kind of be more alert. There's just some of the little education. I agree. Self-defense is, and jiu-jitsu particularly is about defense. It's not about aggressive fighting and taking people. They're kind of trying to like, grab someone, hold them, and
Yeah, you
them.
never want to throw the first punch,
Right.
but you want to be prepared to defend yourself when it comes time. That's the key.
You're listening to Planet Green Trees, Michigan's #1 jiu-jitsu podcast.
It's not just a clever name.
So let's introduce everybody. We have, of course, our crew over here, including Dirty Dan, Tommy, and Justin, who are in charge of the technology. So far, so good, but it's early. Thanks for being our guys. And, of course, our dear friend Jim Powers is here. And let me remind everyone, he is here for one thing and one thing only, that at the end of the show, a snow cone will be given out. Please welcome Jim Powers.
I do love snow cones. I also want to make it clear that the band Radiohead is nothing like the Smiths.
Oh, I forgot to do on the...
Oh, yeah.
Here's a question.
Oh, God.
There was a time when you didn't really, or you weren't really aware of music. I'm assuming everyone likes music here, so that's the assumption for me.
Yep.
And then one time someone gave you a record. It was a record.
A record.
Vinyl. It had a cover on it, and you were fascinated by it. What was that first one you remember, Jim Powers?
Oh, that's easy. It was Pink Floyd, The Wall.
Okay. That's fair.
And it was a double album.
Yeah, I always like double albums.
Okay.
Yeah,
you
that's
passed
cool.
right,
That's
right
cool.
over the Wish You Were Here and
Well,
Metal.
no, I mean let's be clear. I mean I love metal. I love Wish You Were Here. I mean Pink Floyd. Other than some of their later stuff with just Dave Gilmour, I try to respect it, but it's not as good. I wouldn't say I skipped over it. It's just the first actual vinyl I think that I remember.
All right.
Or maybe, I might.
That's right. No, it's a guttural reaction. When you're asked, you know what it is. Amanda Joslin here is also. Let's move on. She is, of course, a validation station. And to get your certifications there, still doing them online, telepathically. Sorry,
Yes.
telepathic. Just kidding.
We do telepathic.
Is it called telepathic?
And we do telemedicine.
Right. Okay.
Little telepathy with the telemedicine. That's
Yep.
good.
It's always
They
good.
they know what you need before you
We
do.
cater to the patients.
Right.
That's what we do.
Make sure you check out Amanda on YouTube as a connoisseur of all things cannabis and the various facilities. Also, obviously, she's going to be doing some productions on jiu-jitsu.
Yes, yes.
Please welcome Amanda Joslin.
Thank you, Michael. I'm happy to be here. Make sure that you also take a look at the Komorn Law and Planet Green Trees YouTube and like and subscribe. Get the notifications. Alan likes to always say ring the bell. So,
That's right.
Ring a my bell.
And Amanda, the
Alan.
question, of course, for you is this question of the
Oh,
vinyl
yeah.
album.
okay. So, a funny little story here is that my aunt used to collect albums. So there were just literally like tons of them. And I remember a Led Zeppelin album cover, but I don't know what album it was, but it had the kids
no.
on there.
It's got Misty Mountain Hop on it. What's the one called?
Houses of the Holy.
No.
Zoso.
It's the fourth album, I think, right? But it's
Yeah.
not called
Zoso.
Zoso.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, or maybe.
She had a ton of albums. Ton. It was
Misty Mountain Hop's on there?
amazing what her
Yeah.
collection looked
That's
like.
a good album, and that's a cool. On the inside, you open it up. Yeah, I think I knew a guy in college used to put his marijuana inside. You remember people used to put marijuana, then take it out and roll it?
Yeah.
That was his album choice. I
Oh,
remember.
the old guy has the fag on his back.
Right, exactly. Meaning fag as a.
No, not that one.
A bundle of sticks.
A bundle of
Correct.
Not that one. It was like they were walking on hot lava.
The kids.
Hot
Yeah,
lava.
There's a-
the hot lava
it
with the
does have-
kids.
That's Houses of the Holy, isn't it?
That's what it is. It's Houses of the Holy, not Zoho. That's what I said. It's got Houses of the Holy on it. That's actually the name. No, no.
I said Houses of the Holy. You told me no.
Steve did say houses of.
All right. Let's get some commentary on the Planet Green Trees thread on Facebook.
Yeah, we're bringing it up.
In order to understand it, you got to really you got to get the image of what Amanda was talking about and be able to make it up. Okay.
Just think little kids walking across some hot lava.
We got to Google it. Okay.
No one likes hot lava.
Led Zeppelin.
Our next community entertainment person is very unique because he's it's very unclear to understand what a wonderful person he is and how hard he's been working at it. But I must say it's working. It's working. Steve Miller from the Komorn Law, retired police officer and outstanding musician, plethora of work from the 70s, 80s, still going strong. Maybe we can get him to play a little ditty for us tonight.
Yeah. We'll see.
Please welcome
Some
Steve
people
Miller.
call him the Space Cowboy.
They do. Some call him the gangster of love.
That's right.
Some people even call him Maurice.
Yeah.
Steve, what's the album? I'm curious. It could be.
So what's the specific question? First album, best album?
At some
What
point in
is-
your life,
The
you were
one-
without music, and then all of a sudden, someone showed you an album, gave you, listen to this,
remember
you
it.
saw it, or you saw it, and it sticks out as the first time you were really taken aback by a certain type of, so you saw it, and you took it, and you had it, and you looked at it, and you're fascinated by it, you listened to it, that first time you started getting into music.
What sticks out in your mind?
3 years old. Kiss Alive was at the store.
Yep.
And I begged my mom for it, and she got it for me.
She did?
Yes, I was 3 or 4 years old at the time.
You may have taken mine, but anyway, so that is because it's phenomenal. That it's like it's a picture taken from like the first row, looking back at the stadium of Cobo Arena,
Yeah.
where the lights are on, and it is every '70s mullet,
Yeah, man.
T-shirt with
Ripped
And who doesn't love a
jeans.
good mullet?
and it is, and then on the other
Oh,
side there's these
I love a good
crazy
mullet.
guys, and like they're just in their rock and roll pose. Yes, I like.
I
that
think my sister went to
Oh,
that
boy.
concert.
I could tell
I went to that. I was 9 years old. I went to the. It wasn't that concert. Like the next time they came around.
Yeah, I remember. I don't know if my sister's was that concert, but I know she went to see him back then.
It's a good answer.
And then if I can pick another one that stands out that I didn't think I would like, but I ended up really, really liking, and you can't find it now, is Ozzy "Speak of the Devil."
Oh,
Another
yeah.
double album live. He plays. It was right after Randy Rhoads died, and so they had to come out with an album. So they just did the live album. He did all the Black Sabbath songs. Brad Gillis from Night Ranger was on guitar, and Rudy Sarzo from Quiet Riot was on bass, and was probably Tommy Aldridge on drums, I'm thinking, for that one. I'm not for sure who played drums on that, but I'm thinking it's Tommy Aldridge. But
Is that because of the album cover, or because of the music itself?
Super group.
I loved the album cover because it frightened me.
Okay.
Well, I
And
do
the
have to-
music was great on it too. That album grew on me. Like,
Okay.
it was one of my favorite Ozzy
All right.
albums. But the album cover frightened me so much that I had to have it because it was the picture of Ozzy on the front with the guts, blood and guts of the bat coming
yeah.
out of his
Nice.
mouth because
Yeah.
he was playing into the rumors that were going around that he bit a head off a bat on
did.
stage.
Yeah,
That's
he
the best
did
thing
it.
that ever happened to him.
He did it.
He did.
He sure did. But I do have to say that
In
if
Michigan.
the albums that I actually owned, it was Rainbow Connection, okay, and I had the Grease album. But if we're talking about the first ones that we owned or listened to or loved, but yeah, okay.
I'm gonna tell you something. I am not embarrassed to say that album of Grease is fantastic.
Yes,
it
it
holds
is.
up. It holds up. I'm telling you.
It is.
It does. I'm sorry. I'm not embarrassed to say that. All right, so we're moving to the Zoom people right now. Sorry for taking so long to get to you. I know important. I hope Jeff Frazier didn't leave. Get back, Jeff Frazier. All right, so our next guest here is known as the Rasta Rabbi.
Rasta Rabbi.
Also, after several years of being ambidextrous, he recently came out as being a lefty.
Did you really? You came out of the closet as a lefty?
He will Zoom with you anytime you want. In fact, Wednesdays, this is like after this big nights of Wednesday where he Zooms with everybody. He's got his queued up. He's doing all kinds of stuff. And And he shows up here. He's like, okay. I Zoom.
Yeah.
I Zoom. All right. Alan
The
Peisner's
king
here.
of the Zoom room.
Best dressed
Michael.
sweatshirt.
Oh yeah, I remember
It's a
that.
pleasure to be aboard the Planet Green Trees spaceship. It's always a pleasure to be here. Wednesday night was very nice of you to give me that shout out for the Cannabis Law Section Zoom. It's every Wednesday. If you're an attorney in the Cannabis Law Section, you're welcome to join me there. But it's always a pleasure to be here on Planet Green Trees, which is sponsored by Komorn Law, the best marijuana law firm in the state, whether your issue is getting licensed or criminal law defense or contract related. Contact Komorn Law 1-800-656-3557 or on the web at komornlaw.com.
Alan, thanks for being here tonight. What? How many people were in the Zoom room?
Oh, I forgot.
What's your
yeah,
first? How many people in the Zoom room last night? I'm wondering.
Last night I think we had like 5.
You also do one with Safer Mish, or is that not a thing?
Right, that's Tuesday night. Yeah, we
See?
get 3 or 4 in that every Tuesday. The same people, different people.
See,
Usually 1 or 2 the same and 1 or 2 different. Checking it out.
so it's a conversation with Alan. Like, Alan, what are you doing today? He's like, well, I'm getting ready for my Zoom tonight, which is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's what he's doing. All right, Alan, what's the album?
You got to prepare.
The album is. This came with the album. To give everybody a hint, this came inside the album.
Yeah.
Big Bamboo.
Ah.
The Big Bamboo. That
Huh.
came inside the album. The Big Bamboo with Cheech and Chong.
I thought
Oh.
I thought you would
Smoked a
have
joint on one of those papers before.
I thought you would have went with
What's
Aqualung,
harsh?
Alan.
Yeah, it's okay. Ian Anderson's okay, but no, that would not be my second choice, Jim. My second choice would be the Beatles, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
It's a good one too.
Second album there.
It's
Yeah.
a good one.
Mm-hmm.
So Aqualung's going to be down about number 10, I think.
Number 10.
Number
Wow.
10.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. Locomotive breath. I mean, Alan.
That's not. Yeah. All right, that's fine. I'm sorry. It's fine. Good. I have no comment. over to our good friend Jeff Frazier, who is standing by in the heart of Texas. Very normal state.
Tejas.
Jeff Frazier, in fact, if you hit a ground ball back, he's pitching. He knows what to do with it. He'll throw it over to first base. He's recently back from his travels center of the universe, right? Isn't that where that is? Like the equator. And dear friend, great lawyer, good guitar player. I don't know what we category. Please welcome Jeff Frazier, all the way from Texas.
Hello, Michael. Hello, Michael. Hello, everybody. From Texas, the land where we have the only attorney general that did not condemn the violence in the Capitol last week. The only one that didn't sign on.
You're kidding.
He didn't say that was wrong?
No, he's not willing to do it. He's looking for a pardon from
that's right.
Trump. He's under indictment.
Right. His only reason for not signing on is that he knows he's not going to be in office. He's already been indicted, hasn't he? Or he's going to be.
Your
No,
Texas
he's been
guy?
indicted. He's been under indictment for his entire mandate. So yeah, he's pandering to Trump.
Right.
But things are good. The legislature is back in session without anybody getting shot, and
It's always good.
we have a shot at getting additional qualifying conditions of chronic pain and PTSD for our Weasley medicinal hemp bill, basically is what it is. But things are good, man. It's safe and sound.
What are the rules on who can grow it?
Anyone. They may have a requirement that you couldn't have a drug felony in the last 10 years, something like that.
That's interesting because Texas would do it like this. Like if you want to grow it, you got to do it yourself, right? Something like. So Jeff, explain to us now. The age. I want to know the age of you also, and when you first were introduced to music, and remember it, and can identify the album. I mean, no, if it would have been an album, it could have been a 45 or something. But if you can.
Jesus loves the little children, all the children of the world.
Really?
My first music was in church choir. Oh, absolutely.
All right, so let me make it more specific. At some point, somebody showed you an album that you'd never seen before. You like didn't even really know what. You went to church, you heard this music, and you sang along, and you saw it. And then one day, someone gave you like an album that like maybe you weren't even supposed to see, and you were intrigued by it. And you listened to it, and you're like, oh, this is like rock. Like I gotta, and you like looked at the cover and took it all in. Like, what is this world that is in this? Do you remember what that one was?
I do like it was yesterday. I was in junior high, I'd made some money. I bought an 8-track player and went down to the dollar store, and they had like 3 8-tracks, and one of them was Elton John's Greatest Hits. So I took it home and listened to it over and over and over and over. My mom had a little piano in the corner, and I said, I want to play the piano like Elton John. He must get all the girls. And so I taught myself how to play piano.
He did. He probably didn't get all. Well, he could have gotten all the girls.
He was married. I think some weird stuff in the 80s and 90s. That album has Levon on it, Philadelphia Freedom.
Well,
that's volume 2. This was volume 1. This was volume 1, the old school, the Border Song.
Oh, yeah, Border Song.
Mona Lisa, that one? Is that on there?
Not that.
Okay, that's still later? Okay. Country Comfort, kind of?
I love Country Comfort, but let's see what else. Crocodile Rock. This was a greatest hits, like I said.
Don't Go Breaking My Heart? No. Don't Go Breaking My Heart?
No, that came later.
Oh, God.
Sorry, Michael.
No, these were, oh, gosh. Let's see what else. Rocket Man.
Oh, that
this
was
all
a good one.
His first greatest hits, covered up to about like 74,
Greatest
probably.
hits
Something like that.
Yeah.
You got a lot of them.
Yeah, Elton John.
All right, Jeff, I'm
going with Alan on Aqualung. Very shortly after that, I got Aqualung, and there's a song that says somewhere in there, I'd rather look around me and compose a better song because that's the honest nature of my worth. And I took that to heart.
Yeah.
So I write songs and play piano. Thanks to Elton John and Ian Anderson.
Can you play flute, though? Flute's in your game? Flute's in your game? Okay.
I like it. Aqualung was great. Thick as a Brick was super.
Yeah, I love Thick as a Brick. I love Jethro Tull.
Yeah.
I begged my parents to take me to see Jethro Tull when I was like 15 or something like that. I was like, they're old. This is probably the last time they'll ever play again. You know?
He's still playing. He's still playing
130 shows a year.
Wow.
I saw Ian Anderson perform live in Pensacola, Florida. And when he plays the flute, it's amazing how he can stand up because it looks like he should fall over. It looks like his center of gravity should pull him over to the side. And I don't know how he does stand up, whether he's got invisible cables there or something, because it should be impossible the way he stands and plays the flute at the same time.
Indeed. No, the guy's masterful. Awesome.
This is a long introduction, even though this whole exercise is intended to shorten things. But I like it. It's telling a lot about some stories, some memories and stuff. And I think everyone's been waiting baitedly to hear our next guest's comments because he holds himself out as the person responsible for all things, maybe even music.
It's just an objective truth. I don't really hold myself out as anything.
No, he's got a guitar.
And he's got a guitar right there.
Jamie, whatever album you pick, we're going to pick a song from it, and you're going to have to play it on the guitar.
That's right.
How about that?
So I had a couple throwback things here. One of them inspired by Alan.
The Rust Rabbi.
That is that's a big bamboo paper with a quarter pound in it.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Where did you get that from?
My friend Aaron, who can roll 2 joints independently with each hand while blindfolded.
Wow.
Did that. He also books for Darren McCarty from time to time too. Mm-hmm. People might have met him that way. And here's this one.
That's talented, Jasper. Oh yeah. There we go.
Look how good of a job they did, man.
Yeah,
It's
you
funny.
can totally.
Now on the next one that he did of us, I don't have that available, but on the next one he did of us.
Who's that?
That came from Ben's magazine. He did.
Right. That was okay. It's
Rick.
Rick.
It was me and Rick.
Yeah.
Yeah. he thought it was funny to present us as being ambiguously gay.
It was fucking hilarious, and you knew it.
I think this is hilarious. Unfortunately, I can't really get into it because it's doing it to be mean.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Now I can kind of appreciate it.
Right. It's actually funny, and it actually is a good rendition of the cartoon characters on the Saturday Night Live that they're actually
the ambiguously gay duo.
Yeah.
Ace and Gary. Yeah.
Okay, so now you've showed off that you're a screen sharer and done something that.
By the way, I apologize. I threw out my email. Got put out.
We
there
saw
during
that.
the
That could have gone. That could have gone much worse, I would say.
It's fine, but
I'm an open book. So.
it's interesting that you got that in because Alan may have some control over the Zoom or Justin, but you just fucking went in there willy-nilly.
I got help from the bunker on that. They planned for it.
Did anyone
not plan fuck up, but they helped me out with that.
Did anyone check to see if you had your ID card or your card on you to be able to do that? I'm not even quite sure how that happened, but
there was a process. It was all behind the scenes. It was carried out properly.
All right, fine. All right, so we got the answers to the questions that we got to hear from you. What are they, Jamie? About the music and the actual.
Man, I had my sister gifted me a 45. I have not seen it in a while, but I believe I still own it. And it was also Elton John with Crocodile Rock on one side and Elderberry Wine on the other.
Ooh.
I think it was off of Don't Shoot Me, I'm Only a Piano Player. Got that as a gift for my sister when I was 5, in the early 70s.
It's a nice
gift.
gift.
Was that one of the questions?
Yeah, that's a good answer.
That's a good
I like
answer.
it.
It's the second one.
I've had a connection. I have many albums in my life that I'm kind of connected to that I could point out as this. But Tommy by The Who is something that's been stuck with me ever since I first heard it when I was very young.
Yeah, that was an early one for me too, Jamie. My dad loved The Who. Oh, probably almost as much as you do. I love The Who, but not as much as you.
Are there any other questions that I'm missing?
What about you, Michael?
Well,
Hey, Jim.
I remember I was a huge Kiss fan when I was a kid. I remember for my 9th birthday, my parents took me. I got really good tickets at Kobo. We went there, and it was crazy. Like, I was 9 years old. My sister was 6, 7 years old. 12th row.
Yeah.
You know, they came out. They went crazy. Like, no, you couldn't see anything. Like, it was, people, all kinds of crazy stuff going on around me. It was great, but it was so I was the Kiss Alive one. That whole,
Wow.
the visual of that was, that's because I remember it was at someone's house, my mom's friend went over, and the kid there was like a, teenager, in his room he had these albums. So that was one of them. The other one was just in this era was the Alice Cooper's $1 Billion Baby or $1 Million Baby. Remember that one?
Yeah.
You open it up and
Baby.
the kid and what is that? What is that crazy shit? Right? You know what I mean? We're talking about being scared, right? The album scared you or something. And then the other one that I thought it was the. I'm trying to think what the name of the album was. It's Queen with the with the monster, like the alien monster that's kind of like it's got the finger and the blood drop. What is that one?
No.
The
I have to pull it up here. Hold on.
It's funny because I remember it. What is it?
I can picture it. I just can't think of the name, but I can picture your description of it.
We're gonna pull it up here.
But anyways, there's a Family Guy about it, and like Stewie sees it, and he's like, "What is that?" He's like scared, he's freaked out by it. He's like, "It's just an album," and he's like, But that was one that. But as far as I have a lot of connections to different albums as well that have stuck with me, and go back to and stuff. Probably too many to name, but those are the visual of the album cover and kind of shocking. What are that?
It's News of the World.
News of the World, right?
Oh,
News of the World, right? Well, Tim Beck is joining us right on time. Should we take a break? Let's take a quick break. Warm up.
Cool down.
We are perfect timing on that. We got it all through our introduction, and we're ready for our special guest. We're going to be right back. Planet Green Trees episode number 497 with our special guest, the godfather of cannabis in Michigan. Tim Beck, we'll be right back.
The Planet Green Trees Show.
Join the Michigan Medical Marijuana Association today. MichiganMedicalMarijuana.org. The MMMA is focused on the well-being and safety of medical marijuana patients. The MMMA site provides the most comprehensive and up-to-date news on legal issues, politics, research, cultivation, as well as the various strange products and methods of cannabis use. Come join the discussion with the most knowledgeable and passionate advocates in Michigan today. MichiganMedicalMarijuana.org.
I am Earl from G3 Cannabis Therapy Network, and you are watching Planet Green Trees, the original and #1 podcast in Michigan for all things cannabis and legal news.
Hey folks, this is Amanda Joslin with the Amanda Report, sponsored by Komorn Law, aired on Planet Green Trees TV. We're here in East Tawas, and man is it beautiful weather, but a little windy. We're about to do a review on the Botanical Company. I'm here with Danielle, and we're at the Botanical Company in East Tawas. Tell us a little bit about your location here.
So we are in Northeast Michigan in the beautiful town of East Tawas. We opened in October of 2019 with our medical license, and then February of 2020 we got our recreational license. We have been warmly welcomed by this community, so we're so excited to be here. And obviously you can always find us on Weed Maps and Leafly with any location information.
Very nice, okay. All right, so let's hear about some of the products that you carry here at the Botanical Company.
Definitely flower is a fan favorite here, so we want to make sure that our flower selection is very strong. And then obviously we're always listening to our guests and making sure that any new products coming online, we're getting them in as soon as possible and they're available for sure.
Tell me about another thing that may make Botanical Company a little unique.
I would say it's our aggressive loyalty program. Tawas is a fantastic tourist town through the summer months, but we know once those tourists leave, we have to make sure that we're doing right by our local demographic. So we wanted to make sure that our loyalty program was aggressive for them, so they were coming back and spending their hard-earned bucks and getting the best bang for their buck.
Very nice. Okay, so tell us about how somebody would get started here. I understand you have both adult use and medical use. So what would somebody that's looking to sign up, what would they need to have?
On the medical side, you just need your valid MMJ card and a valid driver's license or state ID. And then on the recreational side, you just need a valid ID. And then really we want to make it very friendly and make it a place where either if you're new to the cannabis lifestyle or very well versed and know exactly what you want, we just want to make sure it's a friendly atmosphere to come on in and spend as much time with our bartenders as you'd like to.
So other locations, what can we expect from the Botanical Company, Danielle?
We're so excited. We have our vertically integrated facility being built as we speak in Lansing. Such a strong cannabis culture there. That will be our cultivation, processing, and provisioning. That really is our flagship location.
Very exciting.
So November 1st, we hope to have provisioning open there. So we're just over the moon about that.
Yeah.
And then also, up in the wonderful town of Kalkaska, such a great cannabis vibe in that town. We love it. We're going to be opening provisioning and then also social use lounge, which is just, we're so excited to be able to come and get your products. They're right next door to each other. You can come and shop and go next door and just check out some music or hang out, and we're over the moon about it.
I can't wait.
Yeah, us too. Us
Yeah,
too.
so I guess we'll have to be making another trip up north to take a look at not only the provisioning center, but also the lounge. And I understand there's going to be some awesome Kalkaska Kush.
Oh, Kalkushka.
Kalkushka.
For our friends at Real Leaf Solutions.
Very nice.
And
very
that's
nice.
something that you can currently find at Tawa Store. And we will be obviously providing that at all of our locations, and it is phenomenal. Try it if you can find some.
So keep your eyes open, folks, and we'll be reporting more with their Lansing location and their Kalkaska location. This is Amanda with the Amanda Report, sponsored by Komorn Law and aired on Planet Green Trees. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
An important and historical farm crop in American agriculture has returned after having been classified as a controlled substance and illegal. On December 20th, 2018, the President signed the Farm Bill, also known as the Agriculture Improvement Act of 2018, into law. The signing of the act was great news for the hemp industry, which amended the definition of marijuana in the Federal Controlled Substances Act. Hemp is now defined as the plant, Cannabis sativa L, and any part of the plant, growing or not, with less than 0.3% THC concentration on a dry basis. The plant itself is no longer a controlled substance. Hemp is one of the most versatile plants on earth. From clothing, fiber, paper, building materials, hempcrete, biofuels, CBD, and medical uses, it has been a part of America's industry for over 200 years. Even the United States Constitution was drafted on paper. The time is now. If you're thinking of getting in the farming or processing of hemp, contact our global experts, legal, and consultation teams to make sure that you're on the right road when you venture into the new hemp industrial revolution. Michigan Hemp Industries has been a leader and advocate for the return of the hemp industry, so come be a part of the new revolution in agriculture in Michigan.
Komorn Law. Michael Komorn is one of the top attorneys in Michigan that has experience and dedication in criminal defense law. Komorn Law can take your case from arrest all the way from trial, appeals, and even to the Supreme Court. The team at Komorn Law has the compassion and the experience you can look to for help in your time of need. Komorn Law has over 25 years experience in criminal defense. We have accomplished numerous legislative changes through community involvement and lobbying. Our award-winning law firm has a reputation like no other for keeping overreaching government accountable and in check. We have built Komorn Law for people who need lawyers to stand up to the system, fight back and win. Once we become your lawyer, you become a part of our family. Don't settle for less, just ask our clients. Komorn Law, the best damn criminal defense lawyers, period.
Hi, this is retired Sergeant Steve Miller, and you are watching Plant Green Trees.
Here's Michael Komorn with more Planet Green Trees.
All righty, we are back. Planet Green Trees, episode number 497.
Boom.
We're calling it the incident regarding the toilet paper. We are blessed to have joining us tonight via Zoom the godfather of cannabis in Michigan, legend really in his own right, and we're happy to have him tonight to hear his point of view on where we are in the world. And please welcome, without further ado, the one and only Tim Beck.
Thank you so much. Really, thank you very much, Michael.
And
We've been together for a while. So,
I was going to say, all of the talk, really the centralized place as it has been for many, many years, but seemingly more so now than ever, with all the various issues that are coming up, has always been the Safer Mish email thread that Tim is, governed over, to the extent that has been needed, refereed, I should say, and so the conversation can go on, even in these difficult times. You know, I mean, like a lot of groups are not talking, like there's so much divisiveness, but we've still been able to keep it somewhat civil, and I'd say there's a lot to be said about that. So, Tim, what's going on? Thank you for joining us.
well, I'm glad to be here so much. It's really great. I mean, I know it sounds like a strange coincidence, but I got a call from my spouse, my wife, about 45 minutes ago, and she's supposed to be leaving from Moscow well, she's not going to be at O'Hare. So I just found this out. And then, okay, it's going to work out. COVID, bungled passports, on and on, nothing of any significance. But so that's what happened. So I thought, damn it, man, I'm not gonna play it straight. I'm gonna smoke a little herb. I'm gonna get on this.
There you go.
Excellent,
There
excellent,
you go.
awesome.
Got to center
It's always
yourself.
a good decision, Tim.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I think, you know, with the listserv, it's been it's been just an ongoing thing that's just evolved, and it's like I feel I'm the luckiest person. Well, maybe of anybody watching this show anywhere else. I mean, it's like life has been pretty nice, and I really enjoy the Safer Mich listserv, providing news, and refereeing, moderating, just keeping it going. You know,
Yeah.
We don't get distracted by fighting. We try to just kind of like get it over with. All right, you're right. Sorry, excuse me. It's cool. You know, no, man, I was wrong. You know, that kind of thing. And it does have a wide audience. You'll be surprised.
No, and you know, you make a good point, and it's interesting because it does have a wide audience. It's interesting because cannabis has always been a, it's crossed party lines, racial, economic. You know, it's always been a. I learned that early on in the advocacy because, like, I don't know, out of the, you pro reform of cannabis, and you send out a. Hypothetically, like a pro, gay marriage thing, and not everyone in that community. Back then, I'm saying it's changed a lot, but that was just one topic I remember. Like, that there would be some, and it still exists, and you still, but with all that being said, what do you? I mean, there's, there's such divisiveness in our country, and I don't know if it's going to come to an end soon. I think that discourse and getting outside of the bubble that we all live in is a step or two, to hear things a little bit differently. But for some reason, I think the Safer Mich has been able to keep that, even within the divide of politically, the fringe shit. You know what I mean? Like the fringe shit is not like all the, I'm saying, like there's some stuff that both sides will argue about, and then there's some stuff that nobody wants to. It's crazy. I mean, but so how have you been able to do that? What do you think that is? How do we keep, because the fringe is, is not probably participating.
Well, we're all, in the end game, we're all fringe people, depending on what sphere of the universe you're in. And really seriously. And the thing with Safer, we've always tried to have it to be a safe place, safer. And nobody gets persecuted. Everybody has the right, as long as they're pro-cannabis. That's the key. Now, we don't have I know people have been talking about this Sheldon Adelson for a while, a little bit, but the man is really, it's all a little hokey. That's all. And the whole thing is we can talk about Sheldon Adelson, we can talk about, practically anything that has a potential effect on, cannabis, reform, freedom, and so on. And the whole idea is to always have it a safe place.
Right.
Not gonna get, yeah, and so that's been a key. And other people like the news aspect. Again, I have a perfect job. I just do the list. I just love it. I love it, and it just goes.
All right, let's talk about some of the topics that I think most people are. Some of the things that involve our area.
I got one.
Well, hold on. Let me ask this one.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got Joe Biden.
Yeah.
We got Schumer announcing the other day that it's going to be, if the Democrats win the control of the Senate, this is they're going to make cannabis legalization at the federal level top priority. I joked that do you think think there's any reasonable discussion on anything right now? That was a week ago. Just things were but first of all, is the MORE Act, which did get through the House, right? It made it out of the House.
Mm-hmm.
Will it get a vote and will it pass? And let's start with that. Do you think that's the reality?
No, not in that form. Not in that form. It would be something different.
Okay.
The Republican GOP people were, weighing in on it, and unless the two sides, can get something done, then nothing will get done. I mean, that's the reality.
Who's going to direct the cuts and pace? Is it going to come from Biden? You see what I'm saying? Because Biden, that's not part of. I've never seen it as Biden's platform.
It's not going to come directly from Biden. It'll be activists that are working for him, or individuals in his, cabinet or something like that. Right. That's where. Yeah.
What do you think the issues are? What do you think it looks like in order for it to get get through the House again? Because you're stating starting over. It's a MORE Act version 2. It's got to get.
Here's what I think will happen. If I were in charge, the first thing I think that they would do is to try to, I would bury it somewhere in some overall spending bill where you don't really have to take responsibility. It just slips in.
Whoops.
And I think that would be the safe banking act. That's really what everybody seems to want. There's a complete consensus on the left and the right and whatever. I don't know any cannabis reform activist that does not want bank reform, period. I don't know anybody. Please correct me here. But
you're right. They're not. It's a no-go.
It's not a controversial topic.
Yeah, banks are not friendly to cannabis, and they should be, and they need to reform themselves. Period.
No, they're not at all.
But go ahead. So,
but that would be logical. That'll be the first thing to happen. I think with the you mentioned we talked about the stock market, stock possibilities. I believe this market has more room to run. I believe I called it, on this one. And I warned people 2 months ahead of the election: buy cannabis stocks. Buy cannabis stocks, because if Joe Biden is elected president, you got a guaranteed, profit. Okay, period. You're almost, you're right there. And well, it happened.
You're just saying because it's of the speculation that moves the market for a moment in time, it's going to spike because people are hedging the bet that it's going to happen and whatever. It just gets some influx. It changes the dynamics. Whether it stays there, goes up. You're saying that it's certainly going to. Whatever you bought it's going to be more on that date, around that date. I understand that. That's valid.
That's how it's done, actually. Yeah.
Sure. If you're going to make it quick, that's interesting.
But it's an interesting. Again, it's a hobby that I've had, and the thing of it is, I'm just saying I've done all right, really, over the past, and it's not as good as I, maybe should have. I sold way too early last time. In 2017, and with this time around with Biden, where you've got legislation is going to move, and it's not going to take much to move that market, or any normal cannabis stock. Well, what do you mean by that? I would say like Canopy, that's pretty normal. Curaleaf, Chronos, Cresco Labs, Truly. I mean, there's all kinds of legitimate ones. And I tell you, there's going to be a lot of money moving into the market. Why I say, and they're going to be buying cannabis stocks. Why I say that, mark my words. Now, what time is it? It's 8:56. Okay, so in the evening. So what I'm suggesting, I believe anyway, is with that stimulus money coming in, it's going to go to a lot of people. And some of those people, well, we all need money, all right? We all need more money. And what are you going to do with it is the question. So a lot of money has been moving into the stock market from younger people because those checks, they don't need the damn money. So, I'm going to buy some Canopy. You know, I'm going to buy Plug Power.
Sure.
Or you know, that type of thinking. And this is what I see going on with cannabis stocks for a while. I'm saying they've got a ways to run yet.
Well,
I'm not selling. I haven't sold.
No, it's fine. Let me ask you this: do you think that the market isn't based on, you know, like a free-flowing economy of economics that has supply, nationwide? You know, I mean, it's got but do you see if there's any federal action? I haven't gotten your answer on what you think what it looks like at the end when watching the sausage get made or the legislation passed, what it looks like. But before we get there, you're suggesting that the market will, as it stands, will increase, like some federal action in some way, whatever you're going to tell us, will increase the value. It's not going to decrease the value of the companies that are owned. You don't see that happening.
So it'll increase the value.
Okay. I mean, because there's an argument.
If the price goes up, it increases the value to the corporation.
I understand, but the point is that the people that are owning companies right now, theoretically, could be killed by the new set of investors that have bigger money, more money, stock market, real bank money that are now, leveraged to do takeovers. They're going to have more of a, I don't know. I'm saying like that's, my concern has always been that, if the federal government, undoes it or it's not federally controlled, that there's some companies that will just come in and dominate this commercial market. And it's going to cut everybody else out. And it's going to expedite that, like alcohol, for example. It's not like, but all business goes in that direction, I think. We're always dealing with. But anyways, go ahead, Tim. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think, I'm just trying to process this. Again, I would say what would likely happen is, the market's big enough that people want to have their own independent operation. They'll be able to have it. They'll continue to have it. They're not going to get banned. They're not going to get, whatever, booted. However, there's some of them out there that started a business. They went through all the hoops. They did all this stuff. They just want to get out. They want to sell their license and sell their business.
Right.
And something like Curaleaf or whatever, well, they're going to come. Or what's that other one out in Ferndale and other places?
Gage.
There you go.
Yep.
I'm
of course
saying,
they.
we're going to be ready to buy you out.
Yep. And it's and it will happen. It's how when a market matures, this is what happens.
Yeah. Well.
What about you? Got any commentary on Bitcoin? You plenty of that? Cryptocurrency. You got any opinion on that?
You got any coins?
As long as you're giving out stock.
Tim, any coins?
Well, me, no. However, I did make a buy today. Yeah, in the stock market, it's paid off. I would check down, just whatever. I'm not a broker. I'm just talking shit. Okay, so you can't arrest me. I'm not practicing investment advice without a license. So, there's. I bought into the stock symbol is Riot, ROIT. Okay. Blockchain. What it does, it is a miner of Bitcoin.
Ooh.
It mines Bitcoin. Bitcoin comes from complex mathematical equations and arcane knowledge and special, kind of stuff. And then finally you've got a Bitcoin and here it is. So this company, and there's a couple others out there that are they're making a move in the Bitcoin space. I don't understand Bitcoin itself, except I kind of like to understand this concept. I'm just throwing an idea out to you. It's been worth of. I'm buying some more tomorrow.
Well,
okay?
that's conceptually, well, it's interesting because as the cannabis community demands bank reform, and the bank is like, screw you, why would we, and blah, blah, and whatever else they do. And, the original banking concept was really, the idea of a bank was to give confidence to the transaction between individuals, right? It's two people making some kind of transaction, and the bank is there to secure in some way, they guarantee it. We're not like that anymore. The bank is just evolved into this machine, right? That's got third party, fourth party. Everyone's involved in their original banking thing. They're in a whole new business now. It's a completely different.
Yeah.
So with the world changing as it has, the internet, knowledge, people rejecting the institutions that we've been, that other generations were born into and just accepted. Now you can. So the reality of this Bitcoin and the comment of cannabis is part of the drive. Like they needed to be able to have currency and trade. I mean, even illegal, in the gray market or whatever. What do you think? Because that's the other way this whole thing goes, as economically, right?
Well, there's I think there's an understanding, among all players that the market is so big. It's so big that I mean, the illegal market. When you get a handle on the illegal market, when you bust in somebody's basement, come on, folks.
Right.
The horse is on the barn.
Right.
Period. That's it. And so the big players are looking to carve up a certain level of market, and they've conceded. They concede, a certain, percentage. I don't know what exactly. If I knew, I would like. Sure. But that's my thinking anyway.
All right, back to the original question. So let's see. We've got the federal government. They've done what you said in the past for all intents and purposes. Like, for example, in the past, what is it?
Oh my!
In the past,
Justin,
the Congress has passed, riders to the budget, which defund specifically, like the DA from prosecuting medical marijuana patients that in states that what's his name?
Well, here's the thing: to get them out of testing and out of research.
Well,
just get rid of these people.
No, I understand. I'm saying, but I'm saying you mentioned like the way to get legislation passed would be to bury it in a spending bill. Okay, so I'm saying the government's done that in other times. What's his face from Colorado? What's his name? Something
John
Burger.
Denver.
No, the Burger. Something Burger.
I know.
And they also had some other legislation. So the basic theme was: here's your budget from the legislature to the DOJ. The condition is you cannot use this money to prosecute state medical marijuana patients that are incompliant. Period. So I actually argued that in federal court and won, but it's there. It's a reality. So I agree with what you're saying. That's one of the ways to do it. It's probably strategically because there is a reason. I got the feeling that
it would be less controversial. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
There's so many other problems in this country.
Yes.
That on everybody's plate.
That's.
What are you talking about? Marijuana?
Right. Exactly.
Well, we'll put it under this stuff. We'll put in that appropriations bill, and you guys just shut up. Okay.
Right.
Until it's passed, and then everything will be cool.
It's still
that's how it gets done sometimes.
Sure. I know the argument. I saw someone else make the same statement. Like, we're here. This one's dying. We got this COVID, and we're talking about legal. I get it. To many, it's an important. All right. So, if it's going to happen, Tim, do you see it being as something that the federal government unschedules it and just leaves it to the states? Do you see them rescheduling it as a 2, 3, 4, or 5, where they're still a controlled substance that remains this medical concept? Do you see it being something that is it's still federally Schedule 1, and we're just going to leave it to the states? They can do whatever they want?
I think they'll do both.
Okay.
I think we'll deschedule, down, no longer,
Like alcohol.
Yeah. And they will
leave it to the states?
Yeah, to set their own local rules. But
right.
It'll have to be legal. It'll be like alcoholic beverages.
They just got to get out of the
state line
marijuana business.
With marijuana.
Right.
It's like you cross state line, with alcohol. And some people don't. Well, they don't want that.
But-
So, but I think that will be done. It'll be a free on that level. So I think the two will both come in, Michael. That's my
Okay.
thinking.
I mean, what about, so if that happens in the next 4 years, there may be states that aren't even there yet recreationally. You know what I'm saying? Like some states haven't even got to medical. There's what, 15, 20 states? How many? Does anyone know that? No, it's like 32 states that have gone.
The number is,
And-
but
and-
there's a few.
And they're limited. You know, Jeff Frazier's, like he's talking about hemp, medical cannabis. It's 2021, and they're
Hemp
can't even,
yeah.
whatever. I mean, it's like that's not really legalization. And if you're going to do like a total federal, it's no longer Schedule 1, and it's like alcohol now or something. What's Texas going to do? Like they're not asking for that. They're not even, they're not even involved there. Do you see what I'm saying? There may be some pushback, and of course they could just ban it statewide. They don't have to.
Let me throw it out. A lot of people have been saying that the president of the United States has the ability to do that. No president has ever used that or worked on that theory. But Biden may, he could just get bold and do it.
Sure.
I mean, just in order. That's what they say.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard that anyway.
No, you're right. I always thought that was going to be before. I mean, I'd say this. It's a trump card. I don't mean it by Trump, but it's a card that could be played. And it really may be transformative because you lose the solid police, law enforcement community. For some reason, I don't know that should be that equates. I don't even know it's really the law enforcement community. It's more the leaders of the law enforcement community. But I thought at times Trump, it never really was. He was never planning on legalizing marijuana. People, like to suggest that was one of his plays, but I don't know. It's interesting.
He would do anything practically. Really serious. The man had no principles.
Right. Exactly. I agree. Like that's what I'm saying. If he realized the amount of votes he'd get in popularity and the amount of potential revenue it would bring in, that would do it without any other political affiliation. But let me ask you this: Biden, of course, this would be remarkable for him because he was the crime bill, anti-war, funding of the entire war on drugs. And is probably responsible for a lot of the fucking carnage that's taking place.
There's no probably about it.
Yeah, he's responsible for a lot of it. So here he is, years later. Is this a redemption move for him? Is he going to be baptized in the water, holy water? Is he going to get out of this, or is it too late? Or could he even do it? You know what I mean? Would he do it?
Well, he's still got time. I mean, if he does everything all right and he's no problems, during his presidency, I don't think people are going to get, they're going to kind of like forget his past behavior.
Yeah, that's true.
I think he was young. He was a young buck. He was on the move. The Democratic Party's trying to make a name for himself. And boy, we're going to get tough on crime. And white people who are in the Democratic Party, we got him. We're going to deal with the wrong kind of people. So vote for me. I'm saying.
I hear you.
I'm trying to be comic maybe a little bit, but.
Well, I'll tell you. How about this? Listening to that in 2021. It's outrageous, right? But we know that was the mantra in 1993, 4, whatever, and and that was what was selling. That's what was getting the majority of the votes. That was getting signed into law, and people, and even you have to get the votes of the representatives of the communities to which he is speaking of, without any kind of real, any good. Nothing good's coming out of it. Not foreseeing the problems and the dissecting of the community and whatnot. How about this? Well, let me ask you this. This is something I did want to talk about. I found it to be really interesting, and I'd be curious to hear your thoughts, Tim. And I know there was some nonsense today about the sex trafficking, but let me just start with this. Eli Savitt in Washtenaw County. Eli Savitt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So people don't realize this, but the Washtenaw County, which makes up obviously Ypsilanti and Ann Arbor, they're not really pro cannabis. They prosecute cannabis all the time. I mean, they have dispensaries here or there, in days when those were questionable. And even though they had marijuana cases all day long. Now the thing was, they didn't lock you up for it. But you're taking felonies, you're taking misdemeanors. They're putting you on probation. They're getting money out of you. But you have to worry about you're not going to jail. That was always like the old timers that people would get caught there and whatnot. Now, I also didn't realize that the prosecutor that had taken that formerly was in office, I think, was in there for 41 years or something like that.
41 years. That's what the judge.
That's what the judge said today, right? So this is and I say, what I'm going to talk about here, I want to make this point, which is that we've heard from candidates in the past, Tim Beck, who've said all the right things and promised certain things, and And only because of us believing, us, and I say it's the cannabis community, where people rallied and came together to move people in political directions that they would have never been able to facilitate without the unification of the cannabis community. And, you know, they were words of vigor and words of purported understanding. And, of course, I don't, you know, we could argue about whether any of that took place or not. But we could point out some things that didn't happen and the lack of action that's been taken. And we could even write it off. Would you agree? We could write it off like, you know, well, it's a bureaucracy. You know, you got a lot of old guard people in there, and you can't really break up this institution. And you've got this, you know, this long history. And after all, these are the people that lost the vote. So let's be nice to them because they've been so nice to this in policy. And I am, of course, not the people's lawyer, but I'm the lawyer for the agencies of the state of Michigan. And that law that I voted for and said I supported should be reviewed and amended by the legislature, just to get a couple things off my chest. Now, with all that being said, and giving an excuse for, yes, we understand, so much better than the option, out of left field comes a guy named Eli Sabat, who campaigned on the same principles, okay? And then publicly came out after being elected and before taking a seat that he supported the decriminalization of psilocybin mushrooms that passed in downtown Ann Arbor. Yeah. And then, unlike those that have come before and made the same kind of promises, this prosecutor put into writing his new policy. And I don't know if you saw this, Tim. It is remarkable for three reasons. One is that when I advocate about the legalization of marijuana, there's usually three things you're going to talk about. One is, I mean, the Stamp Act, Reefer Madness, and the Schaefer Commission report, right? Because in order to understand why you need to legalize marijuana, you ask yourself, why was marijuana made illegal? Well, Nixon, Schaefer report, you tell that story. So within his memorandum, he cites the Schaefer report as reasons why, okay? I mean, you know, it gives you tingles. Like, it's like some the top law enforcement agent in that says, don't bring me marijuana case. I don't want this shit about the, you know, improper storage, you know, car shit, you know, too much, this shit. It's not a thing. It's a disaster. I mean, it's like remarkable. You know what I'm saying? So, and what he did is he said, I am going to break down this institution. Here are my documents to support it. Prove me wrong. No one else did it. He made others look stupid. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, that's what I took from this.
All right, I got a theory.
Sorry about
that. It's emerged right now. I wouldn't be surprised if he's talked with Dana Nessel. I don't think Dana Nessel's going to have an attitude about that.
I don't think he cares. I think he said, you know what? I'm the most powerful law enforcement officer in this state. And these are not cases. This is my policy. Don't bring me warrants. Don't arrest people because we're not going to sign them. Maybe you can get the city attorney to do it someplace. Maybe call it to the state attorney general. She might do it. But don't bring that shit into my house. We are undoing this institution. That's, you know, and it can be done, and it can be done by leadership. He said it to get elected, and he put it in. I mean, I'm saying this is like, it shouldn't be that hard. This is a you know.
Well, it's not. Some people are scared to do it until this guy came along. I would say.
Who is he? He's like 32. He's like a baby. He's like 34 years old or something like that. He's like, you know, I'm just saying, he's like, that's just a person of the word. It's called integrity. You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of getting in and dealing with all the shit that's been before him, he figured it out. He's just like, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I hope it plays out. You know,
but I mean, this genius is really, really amazing. Just world changing. Really is. I mean, very, very quick. You know, it's cool.
But just to be clear, we're not telling people that you can go into Washtenaw County and commit these things that are still crimes and not potentially be punished for it. There are city attorneys and other people in the county that can still charge you. So it's definitely remarkable. It's a great thing, but it should not give people the comfort that they are going to be able to behave in a certain manner and not end up being punished for it.
It's not a green light.
Yeah.
It is a yellow light.
Yes. And in the comment and ranting that didn't have a question in it, Tim, I'm sorry about that, but I want you to, my point was, we've heard this before. It's just a really interesting that he put into writing a policy because it lets everybody know, and he's hold me to this. Karen McDonald, who also got elected on a reformist, no longer criminalizing marijuana, put something in writing too. But I heard, but it's interesting because, and I did not understand the story today. Eli Savage was somehow talked about in the press about sex trafficking stuff. I will tell you, my interactions with Oakland County, they've undone their drug task force prosecution. They're prosecutors that they're in the drug unit, and now they've renamed it the human trafficking unit. Which but I don't know what kind. And this is an interesting dynamic. What do you know about? What I'm saying, like, it's a shift. It sounds.
I know a bit about it. I know a bit about it. I think I do. And the election, Karen McDonald as prosecutor at Oakland County is a big deal. It's a big deal. Now I didn't post it to Safer, but it's right, because somebody else, Ryan kind of got the news out, but in the Detroit News, they got into a thing about how Oakland County is going to be imitating Washington. Oh yeah, in terms of the prostitution thing.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
In terms of they're going after prostitution.
No,
they're
they're kind of tone it down, okay? I mean, no, they're not going to go. If some sex worker is they're going
to base their stuff off of
whatever. Come on, but other normal, like consensual sexual behavior between adults is,
Well, that's my question, Tim. I mean, the bigger scope of that is if you're a prosecutor and you say we're not doing marijuana anymore, we're going to focus on sex trafficking. It sounds good, right? It sounds like like they were going after human trafficking. Human trafficking. It's not So the question is, what does that mean? What does human trafficking really mean? And I say that it could mean hookers and johns. That it begins a. It starts there, and it's really just drug vice stuff. You know what I mean? But tell me what you know about that.
Well, it means that
Jamie, we can hear you, Jimmy.
Yeah, it means in the event of nuisance behavior, yes, they reserve the right to take action, but they're not looking around as they may have before. Okay, some people say, well, yeah, they're stings, and they do stings. Okay, sometimes they're hotel rooms, sometimes they're wherever. Okay, and the idea here
Chris
is
Hansen.
we're not going to bother with that. Okay, we're just not going to do it anymore.
Sometimes
okay,
they
we
rent
don't
a whole
care
house.
what anybody thinks. We're just doing it.
Sure, right. It's not hurting anybody, but I don't know. I guess I don't know. I was asking more. I don't know. If they're not interested in that and they're interested in human trafficking, if that's the idea that they're.
I think it's just a way of well, of course they're going to be interested in it.
But is there that much of it?
People that are in their community. I don't know. I'm not an expert on it. I can honestly say that I know how much human trafficking is going on.
Yeah. Right. Well, right. You think you'd hear? I don't know. It's not okay. Anyway, so let's go on to some other topics. What do you?
I have a topic.
Please go ahead.
That's come up on the Safer Mish list a couple of times, and I'm curious to hear everybody else's feedback. And Tim, I'm sure you're familiar with the topic, which is that you have a married couple that has children in the house.
Yeah.
The father smokes marijuana in the house. Mom has decided that she's not down with it anymore and wants to know if she's within her right to demand that it stop.
Great topic.
Well, I think he
happens
should,
all the time.
All right, let's take turns here. Let's take turns. So just to frame the question, and there's a Dear Abby, right? And Dear Abby gave her opinion.
Exactly what it is.
1950s Dear Abby. Marijuana is not legal, and it's taboo.
Right.
It's taboo across the board. Martinis, no, not so much. Beers, no. Even Valium has a regularity, right? But so the question is, in today's world, is the one parent smoking marijuana, and am I understand that they're smoking in the house or are they smoking in front of the kids? Let's clarify that.
Yeah, here's the shtick. I'm the one that posted that story.
Okay.
And what and what happened? And there is an unanswered question. I can't really say who's right, who's wrong at this level, because the one unanswered question was, the man, smoking weed before him and his spouse, wife, or woman got married. If he was, well, wait a minute, you can't. The woman had a lot less right to complain. Now, if he never did it, and all of a sudden they're married, and now he's starting toking weed, and that's a little unfair. Okay, so nobody really answered that question in that,
It's kind of like there's an old joke amongst lawyers, like couples together for like 25 years, and like she calls the police for domestic violence. And then she's like complaining what an asshole her husband is. Like she's been living with him for 25 years. Like it's like I don't know. It's go ahead. So that's what kind of reminded me of this.
Well, you're right. You're on the track. I mean, I couldn't have said it any better. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. But again, I don't really know. I would say again, the unanswered question is: was he doing it before their marriage or after? Okay.
Regardless of that, if she decides at some point that she hates this stuff, could this turn into a real problem, like with CPS?
Divorce and CPS.
And stuff like that. And then is that problem with CPS connected still because of the irrational persistence of cannabis remaining on the state's controlled substances list? Is there a connection?
Well, here's the thing. Let me say this. I think that's the real question. It also brings us to the state question of, is it okay to smoke marijuana in front of kids? Period. If you're going to smoke marijuana in the house, does it have to be outside of the kids? Should they know about it? If they smell it, what do you tell them? How are we going to teach our children after they've been lied to for all these years and had to be like, to think otherwise was like taboo, even though you thought, but now all that shit's wrong. But they didn't change the way they're teaching kids. They haven't come forward. They didn't do like here's our proclamation of all the shit we were wrong about. You know what I mean? So I think it's a valid question. There's a couple ways I wanted to frame it. Like number one, if it's before, if someone starts smoking marijuana after the relationship, or if they've been smoking all along and all of a sudden they're making a complaint about it, that's kind of, I don't know, that's something of significance.
Why can't he just go outside?
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Is it in front of the kid, or are there steps that can be taken?
Well, there were actually two stories posted. Okay. One was the story that Tim had posted. The other was it was a very similar set of circumstances. But one was that the woman just didn't want the husband to smoke at all. And,
so what if it is in front of the kid?
That was another one. There were two.
Yep. So I think, either way, it's, what's the line?
So it's the first question is Dear Abby, I don't like that my husband smokes cannabis. Is that a grounds for me to divorce him? That's really the question.
No, the tone of the letters was more of, do I have standing to demand that he stop? But it was clear where that was headed.
Okay.
I think the question becomes, much to Steve's point, it's like one is, well, hubby's out in the garage smoking a joint. The other is hubby's in the house smoking a joint, and the kids are in the house. And I don't know that the answer is different, quite frankly, but I do know that it's a significant difference in circumstance that...
I'm reminded of a story that a friend of mine told me who was my wife's age. Her father was a lawyer. He smoked marijuana, didn't hide it. Mm-hmm. The girl went to middle school and high school during the Reagan era. Mm-hmm. And she was excelled as a student, and they get dragged into these like so sad and mad shit, you know what I mean?
Yep.
She came home, she's like telling her dad, like she's preaching from the choir. Right. You're a drug addict.
Drugs are bad.
Drugs are bad, like all this shit. So I'm just saying, and then like they separated their relationship. I'm just saying. So this is I'm saying
it's brainwashing.
This is the playing field.
Yep.
So tell me there's a better way. Somebody jump in here. Jeff Frazier, give me some insight there, my man. Give me some social, cultural guidance. It's got to be found in the Bible or something. Come on, tell me. Just kidding. We got him. Justin, let him in over there. Come on.
Justin.
Anyways,
sorry.
Oh, yeah, there you go. There you go. There you go.
What is it that you would like me to justify?
I want you to know, and we're talking about the question of,
to smoke or not to smoke in front of the kids. Should you have some smoking token in front of the kids or no?
What I'm saying, Jeff, is that the way in which, if it was an adult with kids in the house, in the way that it's taught is that you can't do that. It's not allowed. Marijuana's bad. They're teaching this shit in school about it being bad. I told this story. A girl, her dad's a lawyer. She's smart, good student. Anti-drug, 90s, or 80s Reagan comes home, tells her dad, "You are, because he smokes marijuana openly with them." That cannot be the world of our future. Like marijuana is legal. The stigma of it being whatever it's been brainwashed into, whoever taught it that way is a lie. How are we going to? What is the path here of being honest? I mean, kids know, they're going to know soon enough. They may be 7 and say, "Why is Daddy smoking?" Or "What's that smell?" But there's ways to explain that, and
so tell them.
That's what I'm saying.
They even have books now for kids. Like
it's just a plant. It's just a plant. I know. That's my favorite.
Stinky Steve.
Yeah, and the way that.
Let Jeff. I want to hear Jeff's thoughts. So I'm just. How are we going to move? I'm like, what is the? It's going to.
Here's the thing, like when God made the cannabis plant, he didn't make a mistake that the government needs to fix. And we've got parents drinking in front of children, passing out dead drunk, face down on the carpet.
Cigarettes.
Smoking cigarettes. So, I mean, the answer is you deal with it the same way that you deal with alcohol and tobacco.
I think you're right. So you're right. And so the parallel is that you do not see in general TV the mainstream propaganda, the TV shows on that the smoking of a joint. It's not a thing yet. It's still taboo. You know what I mean? You'd see in a movie people drinking.
It's much more common than it once was. I would say it's much more common than it. I mean, it's much less taboo in 2021 than it was in 2001. Even
there's been shows about it clearly, that have I think helped enhance
whole series.
Yes, but I don't know that it involves like the cultural phenomena of it being a regular
what weeds? Like you've got a.
That's a similar selling story and all the shit in between. I don't know.
It's a different world.
I don't know. You're right. Yeah, it's a taboo. That's my point. Alcohol is portrayed as sexy, hot, party, having fun.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that. And I'm not saying that would be the moniker for it, but we are.
What, that it's sexy and fun?
I'm saying just that it's not
the
smoking
of
it is
branded the same way.
It's still I don't know.
Its infancy.
Yeah.
Or whatever you say.
And or that a parent would have fear if having a drink of wine. I mean, Halloweens are parents with wine mobile. That's all I saw when I was there. With the kids Halloween. There's no, but
of course.
You're outside in the neighborhood. I guess it's in public or whatever. But
who cares?
Does this potential CPS issue here matter whether or not cannabis is still on the states?
It's in certain jurisdictions. I promise you, they're taking kids away, even though. There's a lot of discretion.
Right.
There's a lot of discretion.
And it's not just CPS. It's going in front of a referee or a judge.
Divorces and children custody shit, that is still a card that is being played.
It's a huge problem.
Yes, it's a problem.
So, Jeff, what I was asking, is there, I'm suggesting that whatever exists now, the taboo, is based upon all the lies that, have been perpetuated. And maybe it's inappropriate to just do any kind of smoking in front of a kid. Maybe you don't want to do that for whatever. Maybe you do. I don't know. But I mean, underlying, we got to figure out ways to change the education process of this. Kids are going to want to know anyways. How could it be legal here and not legal? Makes it more confusing. Maybe and what do you think?
All I know, I mean, I just know what happened in my life, and I did all right as a parent, and as far as marijuana is concerned, it was just a normal thing around the home. There was nothing unusual about it. From the day she was born and brought home, there was marijuana smoke, okay? And usually practically every week of her life while she lived around there. in our place, and we didn't make any big deal about it. We didn't preach to her that it's good or that it's bad, or we didn't lecture her about drinking. I mean, she saw responsible marijuana use, she saw responsible drinking, and so, she's doing just great, and that's the best parental milking I know of.
Just being honest and open is
Yeah,
what you're.
absolutely. And again, like anything, if it's abused and you blame it, weed or drugs or you name it, and for causing your problems. No, you're mixed up. Okay, so
Right. It's not the It's not the mayor. Do you
Well, and it's still Schedule 1, not to, bang that old pot and pan, but it suffers from being, people think it's bad because it's illegal, rather than it being illegal because it's bad. You know what I'm saying? That's where the taboo is. So the first step is to make it legal. Now, we kind of did in Michigan. We haven't removed it from the controlled substances list yet. It's still, the smell of it is still probable cause to come, mess with you. So we've got to cleanse the original sin, which was its placement on the controlled substances list as something that is so dangerous that the policy around it needs to be made by policemen. That's absurd.
Yeah.
Well, Michigan has some opportunity to help change that view in a way. The licensing regulators and in the recreational law allow for consumption lounges, which may not be any different than the people that gather and use cannabis otherwise. But I do think the existence of them and the offering that others can come in that may not smoke marijuana in public with other, in a private setting with other people, and maybe something they do in their garage and not in front of, but having a place to go. Yeah. I think that is one of those, potential evolution things that gets some press, be a fun place, people, events will start taking place. And the other thing is the event license is where you may have.
And then the hubby has somewhere to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, hubby's got somewhere
So
to go.
he's not pissing the wife off smoking the ganj.
But also,
or the wife has somewhere to go.
But those are
when the husband's pissing her off.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
But the story that takes place at these places is, it's filling a void that helps evolve the visual, less taboo, more acceptable.
Yeah.
As those things grow and become more, and the benign effect on the rest of everybody other than the money being produced or joy that people are having.
It'll help, but I think the best thing that people can do to make it not taboo is act like it isn't taboo. Tim, does your daughter think that marijuana is taboo?
No, I mean, she knows that in Russia, where she lives, it's against the law.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're not supposed to do it. You could get busted and stuff like that. Taboo? No, she's tried it. She don't like it.
Yeah.
She prefers vodka actually. She likes vodka. She's becoming more Russian, but the point is, she's not. No, it's not. She's tried, but it's just not her thing. She don't like, but she doesn't have an attitude toward people that like it.
Right.
That's a neat thing.
Because she learned it from Tim. I mean, that's all there is to it. It was never weird in their house.
It's like that in Europe. I feel like they have a very low drinking age, or they don't have a drinking age, right? And
well, in France there is no drinking age.
And there's less issues of alcoholism, right? Because by not prohibiting it, it doesn't become,
It's not so tempting.
Well, it does happen in France, but still, it can happen anywhere. But they have less social disorder and problems because there's no drinking age.
Jeff, what do you say as a parent of 4 and triplets?
Truth is your only shot. Truth, and I don't sit with them and smoke, or they're grown now, but I don't smoke tobacco in front of them, so I wouldn't smoke marijuana in front of them,
But
I don't know.
Right.
The thing is it shouldn't be the consideration should be the parents' consideration and not, the government's.
Yes. Amen.
What do you think about the Europe thing? I don't know if it's true, but I don't know. What about like some of the south countries south of the United States, Mexico, and I don't know what the proportionality is, and like the other countries you've lived, that what their attitude towards like alcohol, for example, and how much, as kids, if they're prohibiting it, young, like Europe, I was saying, has a younger or no drinking age, and it's not prohibited, and therefore
Israel's the same way. No
Israel may be
drinking
the
age.
same way. And it's just they don't have the same. I don't know if it gets the same kind of. What do you think about that? What are the
Yeah, very much so. I would say, particularly, for instance, Argentina. Kids sit at the dinner table with the parents all the time, and there's a bottle or so of wine for dinner every night. It's not prohibited. There's no real drinking age, and they're not lied to. And they, not only are the kids, not experimenting. There's a lower alcoholism rate when it's addressed. I mean, kids are smart. If you think dogs are smarter than we think they are, kids are a lot smarter than we think they are. Mm-hmm. So full disclosure, when that goes in South America, when that goes to marijuana, even, there just recently have we had legalization down there, just within these past years. But, one of the worst things that you could call someone in South America is a marihuanero, pothead, weed smoker. They've used that, and that alone, the government has, to send paramilitaries to socially cleanse towns of marijuana smoke. It's more than a taboo. It's a seriously social. It makes someone unacceptable to society. You can call somebody black, and that's one thing. You can call somebody an Indian, and that's another thing. You call somebody a marihuanero in Colombia, and you're now talking about justification to kill that person. And
it's a real big social stigma.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
I thought
it's
it'd be
called-
less down there.
Me too.
No.
Where did that come from? How does that get in there? Who planted that shit there?
The United States.
Yeah, the United States. It all came out of Plan Colombia, where the former president organized all the paramilitaries to take on the drug cartels. Promptly took over the business, by the way, of the drug cartels. But as part of the Plan Colombia, they sent paramilitary units into all of these little towns and cleansed them of undesirables. And amongst the people who are undesirable are petty thieves and marihuaneros and, whoever is shagging the sheriff's daughter.
So it really doesn't, though. There's not a lot of use, is what you're saying.
No, there's a lot of use. I'm just saying
It's in the
that
closet.
it's taboo.
Okay.
I'm just saying it's taboo.
Sure.
The link with the marijuana and social status in society, the taboo is very, very entrenched, even with legalization. And what I'm saying is that government and military levels, they use the fact that you're a marihuanero to disappear you, in Colombia in particular. But that also goes back to the Nixon days, the early 70s, when the U.S. was back in the coups in Chile and Argentina and Uruguay, Project Condor. The way that they rounded up, and they rounded up tens of thousands of subversives, is that they piggybacked on the Nixon's Controlled Substances Act and criminalized marijuana and condemned it and used it as justification in Argentina's case. They rounded up 30,000 citizens, tortured them, and threw them out of airplanes into the ocean.
Wow.
Right. You think about how effective, the Nixon, political agenda was with the, creation of the Controlled Substances Act, and we have a constitution. So the other countries that use that same idea, as a political philosophy without any kind of real protections, they could do some, severe damage. All right, Tim, what is your take on the current state of marijuana in Michigan? Do you think you're satisfied with how it's going? Do you think there's more work to be done? Do you think changes are coming that will, increase or, affect the market in some way? What are your thoughts on the cities and townships that still refuse to opt in and limit the, amount of inventory for people that set up businesses? Give me all. If there's a question there, go ahead and answer one of them. Sorry.
I don't know if anybody really knows what seems to be going on right now is sort of a live and let live attitude. Okay, so there's so much. Again, the market is really big, so I don't see any real problems that I'm aware of. Okay, there are various signals that there is going to be something radical happening in lame duck and this and that and all these rumors, but it never. Nothing terrible has happened. I would say it's an evolving market, and again, you can find some niche there. You're going to do all right in life. Yeah, within that market. That's how I see it. I wouldn't be happy with where it regresses, to a less free, situation. I mean, it seems all right now. I mean. But you got to always be alert. I'm more alert for threats, okay, and detecting them. And I haven't really detected anything in Michigan that's a problem for the community.
Sure.
From my radar screen.
Based on your scientific, what they call in science is level of detection, your LOD, which is what I understand. Like that's all right. What do you take on this Flint water crisis issue and the charging of the former Republican or the governor? Are we in a time where this is just the beginning of a lot of new political prosecutions? Like I'm saying, like political prosecutions. Like we've been, last few years have been threatening to lock her up, lock him up.
Now we're locking them up.
And now they're starting to, there's you're going to get one or two of these and it's going to be a trend. What do you think?
My thinking from what I know now. At this point, I don't know all the evidence. I haven't seen the documents or anything like that. The idea that Snyder is being charged, I think, is positive. Okay, that was a failure. It was definitely a failure. His part and led to a disaster. He kind of blew it off. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, it'll take care of itself. Something like that. And then they try to cover it up. That's the allegations that are made at his arraignment. So, but again, it's not heavy duty. I mean, these are just 2 misdemeanor charges.
Mm-hmm. Really minor.
You can get a year in the can, but come on.
He's not
no one gets a year in the can.
Yeah, all right. But, but it's a good symbolic, thing. It's, it was bad.
You know who else was down there today? Our old dear friend, Dr. Eden Wells. You all remember her?
She being charged today?
She is. That's what I heard. And, of course, we all remember her from trying to petition the state to get autism added as an approved condition.
She put the kibosh on that, didn't she?
She did.
Oh, my God.
But then she changed her mind. When she was under indictment.
After the first indictment, yep.
When I think she'd been bound over to circuit court.
Yeah.
She looked at us a little differently.
She did. There was a complete attitude change there. But
I always felt that, I don't know. She was like a real loyalist. I just, and after she got charged, I felt like she broke from the. But what do you make of this? I mean, it's this. I know we don't know the landscape. Do you think that this is trophy prosecution? One might say.
Well, I hope not. I hope not. And if you're talking about Flint,
I'm talking about were they charges announced today?
Yes.
And they're misdemeanors.
All of them.
2 misdemeanors.
Right.
For the
Okay.
governor. For the governor was charged with 2 misdemeanors.
Right. So, I want to suggest to you that there. I would, I'm saying that one could make the argument that this is, what's the point?
Exactly.
Like there's some serious shit that went down
Is this
here.
just to try
You're
and
going to
give
waste
people-
taxpayer dollars to prosecute him on a misdemeanor and get him just so you can get a misdemeanor to plead down, charge him with 2 to 1. like
elections have consequences.
I'm saying this is, and I don't know if I'm saying like I thought he was going to get.
I think Dana is involved in this. I mean, he definitely is involved in this.
Listen,
so and that's a fact. Okay, she's the Attorney General, and so that's what she's doing.
This is what it is. If it was a misdemeanor or not a misdemeanor,
yeah,
that's a discretionary call whether you're going to sign that warrant or not, right? If the investigators recommend, I'm just saying, it's like, but so.
Yeah.
What did the people in Flint think
First of all,
this?
I thought that they were going to charge him with some kind of involuntary manslaughter.
Of course, everybody did.
They paid out some money. They paid. Yeah.
There was talk of that originally, Tim, which is that.
It's all talk. It was nothing. It was a nothing burger. Okay? All right.
Then why charge him with something?
Why do it? Because this is a slap in the face to these people in Flint. So why even do it?
Well, because he needs to be taught a lesson.
Wait, what lesson are we teaching him?
Example, you've heard this in prosecutors' offices all the time, Michael.
Of course, but what is the lesson here though? Because the man is retired.
I don't even like him. I mean, I'm not doing this. I'm just wondering why, of all the, if you're going to charge misdemeanor. I mean, I'm just saying, it seems like the first question was, are we going to start charging this is. Name a governor that's been charged. I mean, you got what's his face from Chicago, from Illinois. You got federal time, and then yelled at Anderson Cooper. There's a slam, but anyways,
it's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope. Yes, this is not really something that it's cutting edge stuff. Okay, that's all it is, and that's that's the complete orchestration of Dana Nessel. All right, and. Look, I put my trust in her way back when. So did you, Michael, and I think a couple other, some
everybody,
a lot of
people did. We all did.
I trust her in her judgment on this. I'm not going to personally fight it. And again, there was really real inattention and distraction. Well, we'll have to see what the case comes out. He could be proclaimed innocent, and Dana could get, well, she can't get sued, but there could be consequences for her at her next election if she's miscalculating this one.
I don't know if it was, first of all, it's straight, like if you're going to charge someone, there should be an unequivocal, I don't know, like if you're charging a misdemeanor, you couldn't get a felony out of it. I mean, it's like you did a.
No, they can't.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like why, like, listen, the choices of charging a felony are, well, we certainly think and believe we can convict them of a felony at trial. They can't do that. That's what that means. And what they're saying is then, then what else? We want to charge them the crimes, we're just charging them the misdemeanor because we can't reach that threshold. And it's, it's either. I mean, I don't know. It's like there's a lot of way. I don't know. It just seems like it's. Listen, I'm not saying he shouldn't have been charged. I'm not saying that they couldn't go out of it, but there's other ways to have. If you're going to bring him in and make the case. For a family that's been living
for 5 years with the consequences of this man's administration's decisions, to charge him with 2 misdemeanors and lead up all this fanfare to it is a slap in the face.
It is. It's enraging. Yes.
And whatever, if you're not going to, if it's not going to be a potent charge, then don't charge the man and let these people continue to heal.
Well, it's. On a symbolic level, it does mean something. That's all. I don't think Snyder's happy.
There's Alan.
I don't think he's really happy this evening. Really, I'm sure he's been talking about and thinking about it all fucking day.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So,
well, he got to spend the morning in the Genesee County Jail. I'm sure he's probably not pleased.
Jenny, was he in there?
Oh, no.
He had to be. They had to
arraigned.
No, they booked him. They booked him into the jail.
Okay, all right, very good. Was he incarcerated? Did he have to?
No.
Spend the night in the lockup?
No, just the morning. Just the morning. He didn't get to stay for
He
lunch.
just had to hang out on the bench for a couple.
Yeah, he didn't get to stay for lunch.
I don't think they're keeping too many people these days.
They said no indoor dining at the jail.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
He didn't get his bologna sandwich and his sugar water.
I'm getting the impression that none of the jails are keeping too many people these
Here's a good question for the lawyers. And Tim, I'm curious, do you think Jeff, Allen, make sure you're unmuted. Jamie, feel free to. Do you think venue will be changed for the governor's trial in the county of Genesee with its biggest population serving that jury pool from the city of Flint? Yes or no?
Defense attorneys would want to change it. Prosecution will want to keep it in Flint.
I'd imagine they will.
Do you think any of the judges will? Do you think any judge won't recuse themselves or something? Actually, maybe some judges that want to be that. They want that. They want that spotlight. Jim, do you think?
The story is so well known. I don't think that you can find a county in Michigan that will not have heard about this story and already know. You know, they probably won't need to hear many facts. They already know it.
Right, we would agree that the geographics of whomever that jury pool is will certainly be an impact on the potential outcome or the outcome, right? I mean, if you get it removed to Ottawa County or something, or Grand Rapids, it's a different ball game, right? That's not happening, maybe, but if I were his defense lawyer, that's where I would be,
If the people in Grand Rapids don't like Flint, then that's where you want to have it.
But he can always appeal. He can appeal an adverse decision, and then it'll go through the appellate court. You see, and might not get through the appellate court if the governor appeals his conviction.
Or his motion to dismiss. You're right, Tim, because his power and authority, where he gets his leverage, is not from the jury pool, but the Court of Appeals, which are all federalists. Right? It's that. Schuyler's, right.
Where's Schuyler? I just had a thought.
All his lawyer has to do is do this, come up with some motion that's not frivolous, that involves a dismissal, and then appeal it, get it to the Court of Appeals. That's right. Okay.
It's a pretty good strategy.
It is.
Alan,
it works every time.
Alan, you following that strategy? Feeling it?
Yeah. Yeah. What about governmental immunity? Doesn't the governor have immunity?
Oh, look at that.
I mean, if cops have qualified immunity, the government.
Well, for civil liability or criminal liability?
Both, I think.
Oh, they're charging him with criminal conduct within office.
Right.
In office. He was not. Yeah. So slight difference, I think.
Right. By virtue of it's like charging a police officer with.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's a Marbury versus Madison type of situation. He made an executive decision. He shouldn't, and the question is, can you penalize him for making the wrong decision? The evidence better be pretty strong.
Well, that's not what. That's not.
No, the allegations are that he didn't act and covered up information that he should have acted on.
Yes.
Tried to ignore it. And there was I don't know if any of that's true.
It's not making the wrong decision. It's making no decision.
I mean, it's got to be some proactive action. It's got to be something that is. But at the same time, he may have a duty, to do something as well. And by this could be. I mean, there's a concept, as Jeff Frazier and I have discussed, of in mandamus, where the government has a legal duty to do certain things, and if they don't do it, you can sue them under this mandamus theory and seek relief in the court, right? He has a duty of some kind to at least serve and protect and, supervise, especially when he's putting in, this third-party elected. This all arises out of the city manager shit that was going around. Yeah, emergency manager shit that was very political. It's got a lot of really divisive. And at the end of the day, because these decisions were being made without whether it was justified in trying to come in and fix their budget or whatever their plans were, it just adds. I mean, there's nothing worse than that the decisions were being made by a group that were not the representative.
Well, I mean, we put a businessman in charge. I mean, what did we think was going to happen? And people were.
You think he was micromanaging that?
I think that there was a culture within his administration, and the whole emergency manager law speaks to that.
Right.
And at the
one of the guys was charged, by the way. One of the guys that was like the executive of the whole the government takeover.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, spending monies or whatever it was. I don't know. So what was it? They did recently settle the lawsuit, if I'm not mistaken, civilly. They had I think
$680 million, I think.
Right, but that big amount of money. It was
it?
I think $600 million. That's what I think. I think that's it.
I don't. I mean,
you have to pay it. The state is bonding it out. Yeah.
How are they? But what does that mean and translate to in terms of individuals and are people getting rewarded monies for be damaged? Or
people don't like it in Flint. There's some people complaining that it's either not enough, that it's been unfairly awarded, or something like that. I don't know the answer to that. But I know there's still, there's still some friction. There's still stuff going on in Flint.
Sure. You got to figure a third of it's going to the lawyer, so take that off the top. And Tim, I think everyone would agree, like the last place you want that money to go is to the government locally to hand that money out. Like that's nobody wants that, right? Like that's like right. Look at I know I get a wince out of you from that one, but right. But I mean, but I mentioned that's a political philosophy. You don't want that. You don't want the empower the government to, for them
take their third and give it out.
Well, just that
More than that,
funding out of government, project, whatever. It's like there's got to be a better method of making sure that the individuals that it's intended for get it. And I'm saying that's just a concept in all cities. It's not Flint I'm talking about. But
no, you're right, Michael. You're right. I mean, this was a big blunder. It was mishandled for quite a length of time, starting from Snyder. Ongoing.
I got it.
What's the payout? Does it say?
It says Flint residents. It's $600 million,
right.
And it says Flint residents would be eligible for hundreds of millions of dollars in payments from a court-monitored victim compensation fund, with nearly 80% of payments going to those who are under 18 at the time of the crisis, which began in April 2014. Children particularly vulnerable to the toxic effects of lead in their brain development.
Okay. So now we have a population of individuals that we can divide this up. That's one thing we're learning, right? And they have to apply to get it, it sounds like, from some fund that exists.
Yes, and it says...
And the court is administering it.
Yes, exactly. And,
so what's that population of kids? How many people live in Flint right now? 100,000 people? 200,000 people?
Probably 100,000, I would think.
Probably like the population of like 30,000 people,
65% of the money is going to go to the residents who were 6 and under, with 10% going to those who were between ages of 7 and 5. So they have different ratios going to different age
what's that
brackets.
population though? What's the total? I'm curious the population of.
What is the population of Flint in total? Does anybody know? What was it in the geographic order? Is it about 100, 120?
95,541.
All right.
So if they divvied that up between all of the residents of Flint, each resident would get about $6,800.
Yeah.
That's what that boils down to.
That's what I'm saying.
That's not even one hospital bill.
And that's not even... Okay, so you got to cut a
that's
third
not what
off
it's going
of
to, because you're taking... Not all the money goes to that. You're saying... So if it's just to the kids under 18, we can say it probably cuts out, 30%. It's probably 30 to 40% of people under the age of 18, right?
Right.
So of that
so what's the breakdown?
So it's 27%. So
it could be money for kids that are proven to have brain damage from lead. This lead and stuff like that was caused by the state or the Snyder administration or something like that.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
They're going to have medical care the rest of their life, and this and that. Oh my God! I'm just thinking out loud. I'm not saying this is what's going on.
It's about 26,000.
26,000 people
so,
in that age bracket.
600 million.
It's not.
Well, you got to take a
fees.
third off of that.
Divided by, so 400 million.
Yeah.
I mean,
divided by 26,000.
I see this settlement as this. It's like, okay,
15,000.
We're going to give you 600 million, and that's it. How much?
That's at 15,000.
Okay, we're going to give you 600 million dollars. That's all we got. Let's figure out a way to do something with it, and we're not paying a penny more. That's that's how they, and like any other claims that arise out of this shit, we're not responsible for. You're going to have to get out of that. We're done. We're watching it. I mean, that's what they're trying to put a number on it, cap it, because there could be tons of other, tons of other, liabilities and
a lot of ramifications.
They must have conceptualized in some way what the actual dollar is going to get to. That had to be some. I would assume that's part of the negotiation. But does any of it go to the rebuilding of the infrastructure? Does any of it go back to the, building the homes, the damage to the lawns, of probably toxic?
It says there is some continuing litigation against the Environmental Protection Agency. So,
but nothing in the damage. So damages seem to be slated for medical issues with the, those that are, that those are who apply and are under the age of 18. Okay, but there's still all the pipe. No one's drinking out of their pipes.
Right.
I mean, their
So
water.
I
Now.
haven't heard of any fixes.
Right.
What are they planning to do from there?
I don't think they've done anything,
I mean,
have
we
they?
are still unable to have people drink the water and bathing every day. Think of that. Think of that.
Well,
You have to pickle yourself.
In all fairness, I'm pretty sure. Let me see. I know that a significant amount of work has been completed.
Okay.
They've put these filters on people's frickin' spigots.
No, I mean that the actual infrastructure, I believe, has been replaced.
I mean, like the minimal
Of
amount.
what? The
Flint has
do is
been,
what
with the
they've
help
done.
of funding from the state and federal governments, Flint has been replacing all lead service lines within the city. That work, which began in 2016, is more than 85% complete.
All right, so get new lines. That's fair. They're getting about 15,000 for 27% of the population, kids that may have some,
lifelong developmental
disease, and that's not going to do shit. And the good news is, Governor Snyder's being charged with 2 misdemeanors.
It depends.
The people have been fulfilled after all the shit they didn't take. Jesus, that does not seem equitable here.
Even if they say that if you Google it and they say you can drink it, who's gonna drink it?
No, they don't drink it there in the city. I saw that they give out 3,000 bottles. I think a week is what I saw. Still, now today, X amount of years after I watched one of these, what's happened to Flint? With like a 60 Minutes thing, and they were at a church, they're giving it. People are showing up.
Yep.
It's still
It's like
people
the
are
water line.
yeah, water lines, standing in lines. The guy says this is what the guy says. He goes, you shouldn't have to stand in line for water.
Yeah.
It should be part of living in a non-third world country.
Exactly.
And it shouldn't kill you. This is a basic tenet of human. I mean,
I've heard there's a lot of cities could be in that same trouble in the United States right now.
Well, I
With
don't
old
drink. I won't
infrastructure,
drink the
old
tap
lead
water.
lines.
yeah, I don't need. Yeah, I asked
I've seen
I asked a
these
plumber
water
once.
reports. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Especially. I mean, some of the like the Ann Arbor water. That's like on the fence because it's coming from Huron River, and if I had to drink some tap, I would rather drink Ann Arbor tap than tap from
Livingston County.
The Detroit's well.
Yeah, I mean,
What about
you
Livingston?
got to figure out where the
That water's
source
good.
is.
You do tap water?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had some tap water up there, but I wouldn't drink it. It was well water.
I'm not on a well. I'm on.
I had softener, but I didn't have the water, so it was like hard water.
Tim, how about out west? How's the water out west? It's part of the state.
Well, we have personally. I mean, we have well water. There's a well that's been dug, and we have unlimited water. It's not like living in a urban area or even a suburb.
I would love to just take a sip of some water.
However, beyond
Frickin' hose.
the water's a little hard, so we had to put in a water softener.
Do
Okay,
love fresh water.
so we did that, and we put salt in the thing whenever we need to, but it's all right. It's good water, but I didn't hate water in Detroit either. I drank tap water.
Well,
all
they
the time.
say.
I think it was different back then.
Well, Detroit
I
always had the
drank
best
water.
They say that
Did they?
Detroit has probably the best water
No
in
kidding.
the nation. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's what they did. They unhooked it from Detroit, and then they turned on the
Yes.
Flint River.
Yes,
and that's what
what
it was eroded the pipes.
Detroit water comes from the Detroit River. Flint water did come from the Detroit River,
wanna
and
see
some
the water report.
crazy person decided, well, we can get it out of the Flint River and we'll save money.
Right.
Some horse shit. It was really overkill. They were doing just fine, even though they had to pay, some money to get clean Detroit tap water. I miss Detroit tap water. Really, I always, all my life, for 40 years, I never had any problems.
It's good water.
They have a real deal water department that is designed to clean and then they send it all out to the other. It's really I've been in there before. It's
Out of the
cool.
river, they get it right out of the river, and it's processed. It's processed very quickly.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
water plant.
Yeah, those are always good jobs, like the water, engineer.
water.
Yeah, and You see those in movies every now and then. You know, like like it's a setting that you don't really think about, but it's like where all the stuff that goes on underground and stuff. But Jeff, how's the water in Texas? You guys drink out
how's the water over there? You guys drinking tap?
What water?
Oh, yeah, you're in the dry tumbleweeds.
No, he's pretending like he's listening. Okay.
Well, no, I'm saying what water in Texas. You do know that there is only one natural lake in the entire state of Texas.
Wow. That's some dry stuff over there.
And the only reason it's considered natural is because it was created by a beaver dam. Everything else is floodplain and it's flood or drought. So we either have water or we don't.
But no, we don't drink the tap water.
Good answer.
Anywhere.
No, well
Anywhere.
water. Yeah, exactly. When I was a kid, we had well water that I grew up in a farmhouse, and we'd drink the tap water all the time. But things are different. Things are different. They're putting weird stuff in the water.
Yeah.
Like fluoride. What about the fluoride?
It's a neurotoxin, that's for sure.
Brush your teeth, but use it in your toothpaste. That's enough.
Yeah. Hey, does anybody remember? Maybe I'm kind of going crazy, but I remember a time in elementary school.
Fluoride treatments.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
They still do them.
They swish with it. It was like a whole big thing. You go into the gym, you swish the crap,
for a little bit.
I don't recall this.
No, I don't recall this.
It was a government. Hold on.
Yeah.
It was a government program to put chips in your brain, unequivocally. There was like a whole. They stood in line. They're like putting stamping you with some shit and like fucking mouth right into like a chair. And, like you're whatever. You're like they put you in pain, whatever it was, right? Trouble breathing, like your mouth's got fucking clay in it. What was that?
I had one of those. I had one of those things.
Some government shit. They're like, oh yeah, we're all gonna show up with our fucking government nurses and get you some chairs. Did they give you laughing gas during that, or was that just something I was? No, okay.
No.
So then you're in the chair. And they're fucking Tim. You know what I'm talking about? Remember this?
Impressions.
I got a thought. Now we're going way back in time here, folks. And I grew up where we had when I went to elementary school and stuff. The school, was designated as a fallout shelter. Yes, a fallout shelter. Yeah, that yellow and black, it's like, fallout shelter was designated in the event of,
some action.
I guess,
bombing for World War II.
I don't know what it was designed for, either to scare people, or, or to make them feel safe. I don't know. It was odd. That's all I'm saying. And it kind of evolved to scary, stuff and reefer madness and on and on. I don't know. And Trump, if you really common technique.
Yeah.
Historically.
Steve, you remember that?
You did some fluoride treatments?
Loved it. It got me out of class for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Jim, never.
Day, just
you didn't get it?
I don't recall school time fluoride treatments.
Jamie?
Oh, it was the
dentist,
bee's
definitely.
knees. That shit was.
Was it like that?
That was like a whole big old production.
It was like purple. It was purple too, right? Was it?
Yes.
I'm getting a little.
It
flashback.
Yeah, tasted awful. And the worst.
Right, you're like hurt up in here.
Stayed with you all day.
Some real flashback right there,
But
like
it got
real
you
time.
out of class for a little.
That was good.
Yeah.
Good, thank you.
It was worth the
purple.
getting
It's like
out of
purpley,
class.
isn't it? Was there metal involved? For some reason, I feel like there's metally shit in your face.
Who knows what was
What
in
was it?
there?
I don't know.
Who knows?
I'll tell you something. This fluoride thing. I mean, way back when. This is ancient history, but it was said to be a kind of socialist or communist plot.
Yep. I remember.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, David. Thank you. I really appreciate the validation.
Well, no, to dumb you down. It's to dumb you down, right? It's some kind of like mercury or something, kind of like whatever.
Chemical warfare type of deal.
It was communist. That was trying to infiltrate.
Gorbachev.
I'll believe anything at this point.
Under the excuse that they're saving people's teeth.
Yeah.
Right.
Gorbachev.
They make people brain dead.
Yeah.
I mean, this is that. Thank you, Michael.
Well,
no, I remember.
We've all been from that generation that got fluoride treatments. We've all been sleeping.
Right.
We've all let
But here we are
the system
on Planet Green Trees.
overcome us.
Right. There's something about right. Did you remember? And Tim was referring to this before, but in my elementary school, I remember they had bomb emergency. You know, like the bell
Drills?
Drills, yeah, bomb drills, where you would
Under the desk or
fucking
what?
under the desk and just yeah,
Yeah.
really bizarre. Like
Yeah, we went into the cafeteria, the gym, under the desk, you know,
Telling me that
the whole dealie.
See, we didn't have bomb drills. We had bomb threats.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
We're the-
Yeah, it wasn't a thing. We our
leftover coronavirus
We were
vaccine.
getting
Jeff,
ready.
Little scam.
Jeff, mute. It was like the it was the 30. Said like I'm talking like 72, 73, 74. The threat was like the, you know, Cold War bombing. You know, that's what it was. There's still that shit going on. But you're talking about there was like kids calling it in.
Yeah, that's
For-
right. That's right.
Yeah.
And then, you know.
10 years later, right.
Yeah. It was always a good time. I remember very specifically one girl had, you guys remember the old Walkmans? The cassette
Oh, yeah.
Walkmans?
Hell yeah.
And if you remember correctly, the earlier versions of them didn't have an auto stop. So when the cassette would end, it would go click, 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 and you'd have to hit the stop button. Well, this girl had left this cassette player in her locker, and someone heard the click, 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 thought it was a bomb.
Oh, no.
And they had the whole bomb squad out. I mean, it was crazy. And
Wow.
they come out and they're like, "Oh, here's our bomb," and it's this.
I'm
cassette
surprised
player.
they didn't blow it up.
Yeah.
What was
yeah.
the cassette? What was the music?
I don't know. Probably the Smiths.
That's right. It's just a bomb. Tim, one of the questions I asked everyone before when I was introducing him is probably a good way to kind of wrap it up here. But at some point in time, we were all, you know, the question was, at some point in time, you maybe, you know, you didn't know that much about music. You were young, you know, you weren't really motivated. And then all of a sudden you came across like an album of some kind, and it was like fascinating. You looked at it or you heard it, and, you know, but you remembered it as being the first kind of influence of music that kind of turned you on to music. That's what I was kind of getting. Could be an album cover or, you know, a certain song, a time in your life, you know, something that stands out as the first kind of influential music, you know, at a young age that got you into it.
Well, it was Elvis Presley. Ain't nothing but a hound dog.
Ah.
There you go.
Yeah.
How old?
My first cousin. I had a crush on her. You know, this was in like 7th grade or something. In 8th grade, they're considered a hound dog. What are you talking about? And adults would look at it like, So that's my.
So
first.
that resonated with you, huh?
Yeah, it sure did.
Yeah.
All the time.
Interesting.
It was rebel to like him. I mean, it was like right. It was like a certainly. I mean, it was like a generational. Revolt in a way. You know, like you're kind of right. I mean, he was. I mean, at the time, and people may not. I mean, I that's his icon in a way, right? His breaking of all that.
So I grew up around, in Toledo and the Polk County, kind of a country working, area. And that was the thing. This ain't nothing but. I mean, it's like, whoa.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. He was like really the first in the country, right? That was his own. Before there was, I mean, that's not true. There was other. He's kind of bluesy, but he had some country themes in his right.
Yeah, he had a country flair to it, but
Isn't that someone else's song? By the way, that's not his song.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that was his original. Maybe he redid it. Yeah, let's do a fact checker. Fact check on that.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Written by Jerry Lieber.
Okay.
Good old Jerry
and
Lieber.
Mike Stoller.
Oh.
What year?
1952.
Yeah, it was like a blue. Yeah, he took a lot of the blues. He did
recorded originally by
he
Big
was,
Mama Thornton.
There we go. Yep, it was a redo.
But that's how a lot of the
Do-over.
bands in the commercial market, made their
That's
thing.
fine. That's good.
Yeah, it was
Tapped
still
into
fine.
some of that bluesy jazz and made it mainstream. Pop. Whatever. Whatever it was at the time.
White is the word you're looking for.
Made of white, right? Exactly. Put a white thing on it. So what do you think's going to happen? We're going to have peace and love on the inauguration date. Tim? What do you think?
Oh my God.
I know it's a lot. That's a lot. What do you think? What do you make of all this? Do you think there's Republicans that are? See, my thing right now is like it's a time where Republicans are looking for a new place, and if they're being laughed at and punched at and poked at, they're not going to. It's the remains are just going to push me the other way. There's not a lot of. I mean, Biden could potentially do that, but I think there's an opportunity to kind of, I mean, it just like instead of being divisive, there's got to be something else. That would be, and maybe it's the rallying around Trump. You've seen a little bit of that, right? But who knows? Do you see anything positive coming out of this shit show that's going on right now?
I think if I'm going to predict or conjure, what's going to happen on Inauguration Day, I think it'll be nothing. The military presence, level of security will be so extraordinary. You might need to get near that freaking perimeter and don't even look cross-eyed. I'm just saying, unless you're a suicide, unless you want to take your own life, pull a ripcord, something you're really weird. I think it'll be. I mean, that could happen. You never know. You never know. Right. I'm thinking it was going to be hopefully because the military presence will be so intense. There won't be rioters are not going to get in. Suicide bombers, maybe. Sorry. I mean,
Right. There's already been a ton of criticism on the security leading up to that. A lot of unexplained, how to get that crazy and, kind of white privilege, which is, had it been black, they would have been shooting them from the, like there's something you said about some of that. I don't know. I'm not trying to. But anyways, but yeah, you're right. The idea that there would be the potential for some kind of letdown in security at this event would be, like,
not going to happen.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Jeff, what do you think? Jeff Frazier.
I don't think so.
I'm thinking, maybe Biden could, during his inaugural address, say, I would like to unify the country, and therefore I'm going to immediately put marijuana on Schedule 2 of the Controlled Substances Act. That's what I expect out of Biden.
Yeah.
That's not good. That doesn't do us any good. Did we like that?
No.
I think they should get some soccer boppers and just take it out.
That means that every pharmaceutical company that's not going to be in the business of marijuana is going to be suing the local operators because they don't have I don't know.
They don't have a trademarked
No, that was just facetious. I bet he could. You know what? I bet if he went out and said, I'm behind the Moores Act, he could bring a little bit of calm because, half these nuts storming the Capitol are clients.
Right. Is it that obvious, but the marijuana issue is a unifying issue? And if there was anything that you would say and ask that could happen that may contribute to less of that feeling that was going on amongst those individuals would be to encourage them to smoke copious amounts of cannabis and ingest, something that would have been.
What, Biden could bring peace to his nation if he walked out and smoked a joint right after he got sworn in. That's my recommendation.
I don't want to be judgmental, but I don't be judgmental. But that looked like a drinking crowd, not a cannabis crowd. I don't know. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Although some of the news,
I'm kidding.
Some of the news reports say that the Trump supporters at the Capitol siege were smoking marijuana.
Oh, that's
one
what
of the Republican lawmakers.
Also defecating and urinating in the hallway.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. You know what? There is no divisiveness about cannabis. It's for everybody. They all use. So you can't. The crazy.
It doesn't.
That's how we're all connected.
Through all barriers.
The Trump supporters are smoking marijuana.
I know.
Yes, sir,
what?
they were smoking it.
Right. That's right. That's right. We all are connected by marijuana, really, because you'll defend that, even for that. It's crazy. Right. That shouldn't be. That's not the issue. It's certainly not that.
One of the Republican.
He should have passed it to more people. They shouldn't have taken it from them. He should have been able to pass it to more people.
That's right.
Whatever.
That's right. But we got to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen.
We've had some good talk. Good talk.
Tim, thanks so much for putting up with us. Appreciate you.
Thanks for dialing in, Tim. It was always fun.
All right.
All right. Good night. Is Alan still with us? He jumped off, didn't he?
Alan
came back on.
Yeah, he came in and came out. He was just,
Jamie, what are you
zooming around?
Where are you going to be appearing this week, and what kind of what should the audiences expect?
The Cannabis Caucus at Saturday around 4:20 is hosting a meeting to discuss some of the Michael Thompson scenario and some other issues. I don't really know the details, but it'll be in conjunction with Redemption and Mass Prisoner Project. And I believe Ellie Savitt, who we were talking about, is going to be on there, and others. Should be interesting, and it's open to the public. Just I guess check out Facebook and social media for the. Actually, it's on the Democratic Cannabis Caucus page, Saturday at 4:20.
All right. Who else is on tour this week and wants to explain that and give their whereabouts?
I will not be on tour.
I'm not going to be on tour, but I can certainly, if somebody is going on tour, I can live vicariously through them.
Okay. All right, so here's the next question as we leave. You're on tour with your band, and you're making out the set list. What's the first song on the set list? Any song. To open up the show.
Diary of a
Woo,
Madman.
so glad to be here. All right, Steve's going Diary of a Madman. Amanda?
I just keep thinking about like a thunderstruck AC/DC.
Yeah, that's good. Hell's Bells or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I like
something
that.
That's going to be like,
I was at that
boom,
I was
let's
at that
do
show.
this.
Yes. Jamie?
I don't have an answer.
What's your entrance song?
I have
you
no
had to
answer. I don't make an entrance.
Come on.
I don't make an entrance. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, we have to come back to you next week on that. Just
that's
think
right.
about it. If
I'll
you
think
had
about
to
it.
come into
Dirty Dan
a
wants in on this.
stadium, what song would be playing?
What song would be playing?
What do you want to come into? Like,
Oh,
what's
is it-
going to get you just like the crowd pumped up and stuff?
This is like your theme music. I mean, you're coming in. I don't know.
Theme music?
Something from the Smiths?
Like like the Smiths. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, come on.
Okay.
What is it?
There you go. It's perfect.
Oh,
Very
okay.
nice.
All right.
It's very nice.
Okay.
I feel like it's such a big commitment.
It is. It's
not
really
something I
it's
can make
it's something
tonight.
that kind of it kind of defines you in a way, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I know we're going to
You have
get
to be
yelled
very
at by Dan.
selective.
Aren't we?
Yeah, we're
Aren't
gonna
we,
get
Tommy?
copyrighted all over the place. There we go.
Good night,
I
everybody.
like it.
Just like
Tune
Ozzy
in next
does.
week. PGTs.
The Planet Green Trees Show.
Join the Michigan Medical Marijuana Association today, michiganmedicalmarijuana.org. The MMMA is focused on the well-being and safety of medical marijuana patients. The MMMA site provides the most comprehensive and up-to-date news on legal issues, politics, research, cultivation, as well as the various strange products and methods of cannabis use. Come join the discussion with the most knowledgeable and passionate advocates in Michigan today. michiganmedicalmarijuana.org.
Before you plead, call me Attorney Michael Komorn.
An important and historical farm crop in American agriculture is returned after having been classified as a controlled substance and illegal. On December 20th, 2018, the President signed the Farm Bill, also known as the Agriculture Improvement Act of 2018, into law. The signing of the act was great news for the hemp industry, which amended the definition of marijuana in the Federal Controlled Substances Act. Hemp is now defined as the plant, Cannabis sativa L, and any part of the plant, growing or not, with less than 0.3% THC concentration on a dry basis. The plant itself is no longer a controlled substance. Hemp is one of the most versatile plants on earth. From clothing, fiber, paper, building materials, hempcrete, biofuels, CBD, and medical uses, it has been a part of America's industry for over 200 years. Even the United States Constitution was drafted on hemp paper. The time is now. If you're thinking of getting into farming or processing of hemp, contact our global experts, legal, and consultation teams to make sure that you're on the right road when you venture into the new hemp industrial revolution. Michigan Hemp Industries has been a leader and advocate for the return of the hemp industry. So come be a part of the new revolution in agriculture in Michigan.
We have launched.
We've completely launched. We've started the show. And it is Planet Green Trees. We're about to embark 2 hours of medical marijuana and marijuana reform in Michigan and nationally and internationally and even in space land. There's an argument that we evolved from the cannabis plant. Let's just be honest, okay?
Ow, what's going on, everybody? How y'all doing?
420th episode.
If you're a connoisseur, you're going to want the good stuff. And if you want the good stuff, you're going to go for the mom and pop stuff because that's the good stuff.
It's just a real pleasure to come here and congratulate you on your 420th show, and thank you for having me on a few times over the 420.
Dr. Bud Green here. Welcome to our
Komorn Law. Michael Komorn is one of the top attorneys in Michigan that has experience and dedication in criminal defense law. Komorn Law can take your case from arrest all the way from trial, appeals, and even to the Supreme Court. The team at Komorn Law has the compassion and the experience you can look to for help in your time of need. Komorn Law has over 25 years experience in criminal defense. We have accomplished numerous legislative changes through community involvement and lobbying. Our award-winning law firm has a reputation like no other for keeping overreaching government accountable and in check. We have built Komorn Law for people who need lawyers to stand up to the system, fight back and win. Once we become your lawyer, you become a part of our family. Don't settle for less, just ask our clients. Komorn Law, the best damn criminal defense lawyers, period.